the honorable brother, the revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Power Bombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Power Bombshells 175. I'm Mel. That's Sam. We're just two broads talking about the wrestling we watch. It is very dark where I am for some reason. I don't know why. My lighting is weird.
I might have to put.
It's like
actually.
Okay, I'm in like weird land here today.
Yeah, it's like it's not supposed to rain today, but it's really overcast, and so it's messing with my lighting.
We're getting the lovely wildfire smoke from up in our poor neighbors in Canada up there where around, well, I mean, I think they are kind of close to Paul Fontaine.
Oh, goodness.
So, but that, it's been stupid hot here.
Yeah.
And then it cooled off a little. And because it cooled off, the wildfire smoke was like, oh, look, there's an opening to go down to the Midwest and across the you guys might even be being affected. So it's been lovely here. The air quality has been super awesome. And if you read sarcasm, folks, I don't know.
We had last Saturday and Sunday through Tuesday, it was at least 100 degrees every single day. I think Sunday got to 101, and then like the heat index was like 109.
Yeah.
So it's been, and so now it's cooled off to like 80 to 83 degrees. It's cool. We got a 20 degree temperature drop, but
I apologize to our viewers on the other side of the ocean who don't know what this means, because if it was 80 degrees, we'd be literally melting in their degrees. So it's very
in the Fahrenheit. It is.
Yeah, in the dot F situation, just for that, because I know that we do have a few of you out there. So although it's been crazy hot there too for them, because I know that John has been, when John talks about literally just wanting to jump straight into the sea, then
right.
He's not really like, let's go swimming guy, but he's like, I don't care. I mean, it's very funny because it doesn't get warm there. And so, it's like, it's very unlike places that you and I are familiar with for a large part. So like when it does get hot, they all run to the water. We're like, yeah, we don't go to the beach much because that's where the tourists are. We'll suffer it out with our internal heat. Yeah, it's been crazy. Wildfires, 100-degree heat, like 80 feet of rain between your area and down that area. And we got
tons of rain.
Where my friend lives, where her parents live, where she's from at this side of the state, they got 4 inches of rain in like 2 days or some crazy.
Oh, wow.
Thing. Their river rose like 4 feet or something.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's all lakes and rivers here.
Right.
So everything just explodes into these there's nowhere for it to go here. It has to even go. Yeah, see, this crash backs me up here. He's like, yeah, right. He's like, dang, what are you guys like? Are you magma monsters or something?
Yes, we're getting pretty close to it. Yeah, and my editor for Wrestling Inc. lives in Phoenix, and it was like Friday. It was like 109 degrees, and I was like, that was the heat index.
And that's
and he was like, oh yeah, it was like I can't remember what time. It was like in the evening. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening or something like that, and it was still like over.
Oh, it hasn't been getting cold at night here. It doesn't.
It got to like 68, I think, last night, but it didn't last long. It's already back in the 80s.
It's great, even in places where it's not supposed to be that warm. So it's like, listen, it usually gets hot and gross here in the summer, but this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, the last 2 summers have been really ridiculous. Since Nikki says that she loves your hat, and I'm going to go back up here to Zaza's comment because he was talking about your hat before we. He said that he had predicted a hat with a shark fin on the top. Oh, he says in the honor of the 50th anniversary of release of Jaws. I was like, well, Shark Week was 2 weeks ago, or not last week, but the week. Not this.
Yeah, it kind of it fell perfectly. R.I.P. Pippa. A dog should not go fetch a stick in the ocean and not return. Oh no! Are these Long Island? So sharks have been coming to the northeast coast.
Yep, they sure have.
And like Jaws is really happening, and it's not. It's super weird because you have to understand, like in the North Atlantic, where I'm from in southern Maine, we don't swim in the ocean. We go inland and swim in the lakes and rivers because even in the middle of the summer when it's super hot, 50 degrees maybe Fahrenheit. I mean, you can get hypothermia if you swim too far out in the beaches in Maine.
Wow.
It's not a joke. It's cold. Most people, even the like Richies, they have these like estuary beaches where it's actually brackish water. So it's where it meets like a lake or a river, and it's just that's where they actually swim. Like it's cold. The water's supposed to be cold. But over the last several years, more shark sightings. I know there's been a ton off of Long Island.
Yeah, there was a really huge shark that was found.
Oh, okay, that's like right. Pippin, you're right. Pippin was the dog in the shark. I'm such a jerk.
I thought that's what he was referring to.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
But yeah, they
R.I.P. Pippin.
There was like a shark that they found like near, I think it was like near Nantucket like a week and a half ago, and it's like the biggest. I can't remember off the top of my head what type of shark it was, but it was tagged in Georgia, went down to Florida, was hanging out in Cape Hatteras for a while, and then now has made its way like outside of Nantucket, and it's like the largest shark. It was like 1,463 pounds, and it was like 14 feet long or something like that.
Yeah,
it
was the largest great white to be spotted that far north in the North Atlantic that we know of since we've been tracking them. Because it's too cold.
Right.
And their kind of food sources, the only time they would have them is in very specific times. Because we have.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It is possible. I mean, it's kind of even funny that was like the whole point of Jaws was that having a shark like that far north, because that was supposed to be in Maine. It was this setting was Amity, Maine.
Right.
It was based on a story. We always go through this. I think it was Nantucket or Rhode Island or Long Island, but there's a whole like list of stories of like shark strange sightings. But again, it's strange. It's so rare. Right. Now I'm seeing overflights that are so far, like, up Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, out in Long Island, like seeing a whole bunch of any kinds of stuff. And they're not just great whites. It's all kinds. They're seeing bull sharks. Yeah. It's like, we're running out of food. And the water's getting warmer. And for those of you who do watch Shark Week, you will have many years ago when they were still doing documentary, although hopefully it's gone. People told me it's gone back to being more documentary, and I've seen a couple of the documentaries. It's getting really good. But when Shark Week was really about learning about sharks, they introduced us to the megalodon. Right. My friends and I were so curious to know what 100-foot shark look like. At our theater. We had one of the big measuring, the like 1,000 foot. So we went out in front of the theater and measured.
Wow.
Yeah, the kids held the thing and I walked all the way down, and it was like 2 blocks.
Oh my God.
And we're like, this shark lived on the planet.
It was the size of a football field.
Right. And they've been around that long. Like they're that adaptable. They'll just find a new place to eat and stuff. And I just think it's wild. It's so wild that on the 50th anniversary of Jaws, the current climate circumstances are leading to actual potential Jawses.
Right. Daza said there's a book on the incident that inspired Jaws called Close to the Shore, and it's fascinating.
I have always, thank you, Daza, and I might circle back with you on that. I have always missed what the book was called and wanted to read it. So that might be my next library poll, because I've been reading. That's awesome. Thank you. See, Daza knows.
Yes. Crash says, my childhood dreams were crushed a few years back. No Jaws 19. Back to the Future 2 made so many promises. Damn you, Spielberg, and your lies. And he shakes his fist.
Did you guys check out the documentary before we get way in the weeds on this? Whoa, okay, that's a new one.
I knew that. The reason I knew that is because Bojangles, I'm on their, of course, on their mailing list, because I entered it I was on their mailing list for something. It was like, it was back when New Day. No,
Oh,
no,
yes,
no,
yes.
no, New Day did have their stuff, but no, it was a Panthers give. The Panthers were doing a giveaway.
Oh, okay.
That's what it
That
was.
makes sense.
Because that's one of their sponsors.
Got it.
That's and I just never unsubscribe because when you enter contests and they're like, we'll subscribe you because they were a sponsor or whatever. That's what it was. But Bojangles has dollar watermelon tea today.
That's awesome.
So if you live near Bojangles and you like watermelon things, go get watermelon tea for $1.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's just perfect. Yeah, this is no. Sorry about the shark hat, but I still figure I rocked it pretty. I'm just trying to go for summery, despite everything, and realized that dog's name was Pippin and lived a good long life. Well, that's excellent to know. So I know. He's always going to know the dog facts. Always going to. There's an animal in the movie.
Fact to know.
If there's an animal in the movie, he'll know all about it.
That's a good.
He knows the history of the Deadpool dog.
Wow,
which is actually a fascinating history and a really cute story. But I'm not going to.
I will let you know. I am watching the Braves and the Reds were supposed to play the first ever game at Bristol Motor Speedway last night. It got rained out, so it's on now. And so if that's why I keep looking away because we actually had a home run, and then they were just showing there was a race. There's the car. Their pace cars on the racetrack with a flag that says home run. Instead of having like the mascot do something, there apparently the pace cars going around with the flag, and I just looked up and saw a home run flag going across my screen.
That's amazing.
So I'm still listening. I will just, if you see me looking off to the side,
I get it. It's break season. It was right.
Listen, this team is not. This has been a very rough season to be a Braves fan, and so
the Tigers have been like. I usually don't follow baseball because my dad wasn't a baseball fan, and my mom had weird teams that you couldn't see in our region. So, but then when I moved to Seattle and they had a regular baseball team, I wasn't a Mariners fan, but I like baseball and I followed it, and I would follow the minor league teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. Oh my gosh. Detroit is a sports town. Seattle's a sports town.
Right.
Detroit is a sports town.
For sure.
It's
yeah.
Very, very soon you will see nothing but gray and Honolulu blue. Although I know they lost the Hall of Fame game and the season's over. Everyone pack it in. Give the Detroit Lions fans a hug. We tried our best because they have so much drama here, Sam. So much drama.
Oh, I'm sure.
Ooh, it's crazy. But they're big. They love their sports teams. And it's hard not to get into the Tigers because everybody's into the Tigers.
Sure.
And if you understand the game enough, and they have a good team, and they went on a skid, and but literally people live and die by their sports teams here. It's so cute. I'm always like, I can't not root for the home team. And I've always been like that where I live.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not from that place. It's like, but I live here. Unless it's Boston. Sorry. I know it might be.
No, I get it. I'm a Brave. The Braves did start out in Boston. That's where they
yuck the Fankees. I mean, I do have that in my I mean,
listen, 1997 or 1998 traumatized me as a Braves fan, having to play the Yankees and losing to them in 4 games.
It will always, that will live in me from being raised in New England. I will always just hate the Yankees.
Yes.
The surest way I always say the surest way to find New Englanders in any room is to start a Yankees suck chant.
Facts. So, that's how you can find, and that's how, depending on where you're at, that's how you can find the Alabama fans if you chant Roll Tide.
Whether you for better or worse. Usually it's like if I'm lost somewhere, like crap, I need someone from New England to help me out. I'll start a Yankees. It's like Marco Polo or something.
Right. Hi Maria, thank you for joining
Welcome.
us. You have missed climate change talk, Jaws and Shark Talk, and now we have moved on to baseball a little bit. Oh, and also it is National Watermelon Day, so there you go.
And dogs and famous movie dogs.
And Miley is
that's so funny. It's like she heard us talking about dogs and was like, I'm gonna make an appearance just so you know that I'm also somewhat famous.
And then she's back further. Our foster dog is still here, and so I was telling Mel before the show, Nikki is with my mom doing some stuff for my aunt, and so The dogs have decided they're going to stay in here. Usually Miley hates being in here because she can't stand, I guess I talk too much, and she's like, I'm leaving. But they're very tired because they hung out outside while I went to take care of my dad's dog. So hopefully they'll stay passed out. I apologize ahead of time if they start barking, because Miley does. Most of our beagles have never had the typical beagle bark. Sadie has it. They all apparently. Sadie we learned that very quickly. So hopefully
the classic beagle bark.
Yes, Nikki is on pet duty for our aunt. So she
said duty.
So she did say duty. And so Nikki she's like, you're doing your podcast tomorrow, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, and so she went and got our laptop so that she could.
We appreciate you, Nikki.
So
we actually appreciate both of you, because you guys are doing awesome, dog and cat, and just
a lot.
Nikki and Sam are animal loving and family loving humans who do a lot and are awesome. So big shout out to you guys, because that's not easy work, I believe.
No, it can be a lot. Hi, Fernando. Thanks for joining us.
It's actually great to see all of you. Thank you.
Yes, all of you. And even if you're not in the chat and you're watching live or watching the replay, hello. Hope you have a good week. Hope things are going well. Make sure you take care of your mental health. That's an important thing. Please take care of your mental health and
stay hydrated, folks. Seriously.
Yes, please stay hydrated.
These are two. Mental health and hydration are like top tier.
I know there's a lot of things going on in the world, and I get it. I'm right there with you. But if you could remember those two things,
I think we've done our job. I think.
Please take care of yourselves, even if that just means drinking your water and going outside or chunking your phone in a fire pit like John Moxley did that one time.
Yeah, I can't blame him. I've been using mine very judiciously these days. I really want to prevent myself not only from falling into the psyop that it's trying to, because it's literally built to like make our brains do that stuff, and it's messing with the way we talk to each other, and it sucks.
Yes.
However, it's also a healthy outlet for some people when used properly, and that's how I tried it. That's when I try to use it.
Yes. Nikki said she told me that Miley would probably pass out, and if she doesn't, just black out the screen and toss her out.
You could put up one of those fake backgrounds too.
I know, I need to. I think though it's funny because when I turn my camera off, I think Keela's Abby
comes up. That's funny.
Yeah, I think it's so.
It's probably because you've never said it.
That actually.
What a great
what a great segue. Speaking of Keela, she and Saucy Scott will be live tonight following night 2 of SummerSlam to give you their reactions to whatever is happening. Last night, I believe it was Jeremy and Garrett that went live.
I want to say yes, because they were talking about
that.
That
is up on this channel if you want to watch the replay, see their reactions to night 1. But then tonight, after, I believe it's going to be like 8 o'clock ish. Actually, last night, I think they ended up going, I can't remember if they went a little bit early so it was around 8 p.m. Eastern. Actually, it can't be 8 because that had to be 8 Eastern Pacific, because the pay-per-view starts at 6. Started at 6. So right after the pay-per-view, but hopefully we'll remember to retweet it. I didn't watch night 1 of SummerSlam because I didn't have to, but also I was busy doing pet things between my aunt's house and my dad's house, and just trying to watch this Braves game that got rained out, and it was just a lot. So I didn't watch SummerSlam. I did hear a couple of things that happened, but then I am helping out with coverage for night 2 because I had already offered help, and then because of some family things, I didn't cover Collision live, and luckily I have some really great people over there who helped me out. So I'm going to help them out tonight. And so I will be watching night 2 of SummerSlam. So if you would like to hear what the Wrap has to say, make sure to come right back to this channel after the pay-per-view. And I'm sure they're going to have lots and lots of things to say.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a crazy lot going on right now. So
there is a crazy lot going on right now. And I guess before we get into... Sorry, this is going to be a more WWE heavy episode, but there's a lot going on this week, not even related to SummerSlam. This is all like non-SummerSlam related. Well, actually, I take that back. Well, we'll get to it. I'll tell you what I mean.
Kind of crossover.
But Crush says, Mel, how's you and your beau's race to the front cover of Cosmetology going? When you guys win, you need to wear that hat. And he said, and the big dark glasses like Anna Wintour, go full on Condé Nasty.
That's fantastic.
Condé Nasty is what I'm going to call it now on. I've already got Dynasty, so why not Condé Nasty?
That's so fun. So the answer to your question is, we mentioned it last week a little, and I haven't been like totally shameless plugging it, but I may as well since you asked, is that I entered Bob and I into an America's Favorite Couple contest hosted by Jeff Goldblum and his wife Emile, and they are doing it for charity. They're doing it for ocean preservation and the food banks in LA that were affected by last year's wildfires. And so you can vote once a day for every 24 hours for us, and then the donations multiply the vote sometimes. And I am so amazed and humbled by all of you who have donated and that you followed that. And it's becoming really fun because people are walking up to me in town or whatever and being like, we voted for you. And it's really sweet because, you know, you hang out with your friends and family and you're around.
Yeah.
And it's very, you know, but it's nice when you realize, like, you know, you're having a little impact on people's lives and they're joining along in this fun thing for you. And a lot of my friends have thrown money at it, and I just can't say thank you enough to everybody. I really feel like it's a you guys effort, kind of more. We're just trying to look cute and win $20,000 so that we can pay back a bunch of loans we took out to get started as insurance agents. And, you know, and then I would definitely wear this hat. Hopefully in the advert, like the idea is that it's an advert for Variety, is the idea would be that I would be able to talk about all you cool people and all the things that we've done and seen and all the crazy weird life that we've had. And, you know, so it'd be funny. And they're really cute because as you've progressed through the contest, they keep sending cute little videos of them and they're adorable. So, I mean, if they're like, it'd be, not that you know how TV is and sometimes whatever, but they're pretty like off the cuff about the way that they do these videos, and they're kind of hilarious. And it's cute in that way that when you've been married to somebody for a significant period of time, there are certain quirky things about your marriages and each other that you do. And so watching them, they like do how like who said I love you first, or who's the better cook, or who, it wasn't even who's the better cook, it was who likes to cook more, or like it's very interesting stuff to listen to them. And so it's kind of a silly thing, but we made it to the group finals. So at the
until next top 5.
Yeah, right. So the top 5 group final. And so this next one is to the final, I guess. It's really hard to follow how this thing works.
Yeah.
But
because there was something about votes till August the 7th. Is that what it was?
So the next, whatever is going to happen, the next cut is next Thursday, August 7th. So if you want to go throw in a free vote, please. It's all over my socials.
I've been posting the links to Power Bombshell.
Graciously and wonderfully supporting it, almost more than me sometimes. And I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So if you go to the Power Bombshells Twitter, to our Insta story, or you go to Instagram, watch our stories, or go to Blue Sky. It's there. I posted the links are all there. I've retweeted. At the very least, I will at least repost Mel. And then if not, I try to like quote something that way she can repost it to her stuff. So, the links are there and they will continue to be in those 3 places. As we said before, you do have to have an active Facebook account because you do have to
and I totally get it if you don't.
For the people who do not, you can send Mel and Bob your good vibes that the votes will come through and they'll get it, and they'll get the $20,000 to pay back their loans. So
it would be nice. That'd be a lot of fun. It's been so cool. That'd be awesome. Like, who doesn't want to like have those things, whatever. Yeah. It's just been really, really, I just want to like make sure everyone knows it's been so super fun and cool to get, whether in person or online, in personal messages, folks on Facebook, just, I voted for you guys, or you're the guys that we voted for. Oh, my friend told me about it. And that's really great. Because I'm a human person. I like humans. I like people. I like community stuff. And it's really fun when something's bringing people together, no matter what it is, because we need more of that. And it's very flattering. It's incredibly flattering because we have had a wild one and we've been together for 26 years. So, yikes.
That's awesome.
26 years here. We're pushing it'll be 25 years in October. So,
oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Awesome.
It's madness.
I love that.
Utter madness. And multiple states too. So we've lived on like all the coasts. Oh. Not all of them, not the southern ones, not where you are. I've been to where you are. I've been to the tourist traps you haven't been to. But thank you guys for asking and for continuing to do that. I don't usually put myself out there for that, but I was like, we could kind of use that. I'll go smile and talk about all the cool things that wrestling and it's like, what am I going to talk about? Podcasting, wrestling, my community that I love. Like,
those are all good things, though. So,
yeah, I mean, it'll just be fun for everyone. And how cool Fight Game Media is. Like,
yeah, there you go.
So, there we go. Oh my gosh. All right. Now, I needed to load up the positivity because we're going to talk about some serious stuff here today.
There are a little bit of serious stuff. Then there's just some
stuff.
Why is WWE?
I need to just clip Sam saying, "What are we doing here?" so I can hit a button like Jim does with his.
We do need that. What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Also, what is WWE? They are.
What are
they are? They did announce last night they are no longer doing press conferences after their PLEs for the foreseeable future. Took them long enough.
Wow. Okay.
But as Brandon Thurston pointed out today, silence is also an answer.
True story. Heard that, Brandon Thurston.
Yes. And I also, speaking of Brandon Thurston, a lot of people owe John Pollock and Dave Meltzer lots of apologies for the Seth Rollins story because he was not injured. John Pollock, the day after that injury happened, John Pollock said he was hearing it was not legitimate, that it was a work. And then Meltzer confirmed it, and he's been saying for weeks it was to set up for SummerSlam, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't see it. I heard it played out really, really well. Like, we knew that. I figured that's what was coming, that CM Punk beat Gunther, Seth Rollins returned, glared at CM Punk, turned to leave, dropped his crutches, pulled his knee brace off, went down, beat CM Punk, cashed in, and he is now the champion, which is what we figured was going to happen. And Dave Meltzer and John Pollock both confirmed it weeks ago. And so, yeah. And so Brandon Thurston said last night when they did their live stream, he said, like, subscribe, and apologize.
Bless him. That's beautiful.
It was so good. So good.
I probably won't get any of the third, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, that's great. And Meltzer was like, yeah, he's like, he said it. Meltzer, I think he said, it was great it was brilliant when I reported it 3 weeks ago, and it played out flawlessly. And basically, like, I told you.
Man, it's crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and then I saw people were mad. They're like, well, what's the point of telling people that it was a work because you blew the storyline? No, it's WWE. It's very obvious where this was going. Like, we knew that's why Gunther won the title back from Jey Uso, was the setup for CM Punk to beat him so they could set up Seth Rollins, who hates, like, that's Seth Rollins' whole gimmick is, I hate CM Punk. Like, that's been his whole gimmick that's also Drew McIntyre's gimmick. But since that's his character, does nothing else. So, of course, that's what this was leading to. Like, it's like, why are we surprised? So I was like, I mean, be mad at them if you want to, but, like, we all saw it coming from a mile away because we've watched the product for decades. We all knew it was coming. And if you were surprised, good. I'm glad. It's hard to be surprised in 2025. So if you were surprised and it worked out for you, good. I'm glad that I hope you enjoyed it. If you figured it out like a lot of us, I mean, that's just how wrestling works these days. A lot of times you can see it coming from a mile away. So,
especially WWE.
Over there. So
WWE has a formula and they've been using it forever.
Yes, they do. And so there are lots to get to. So we are saying on the WWE product, we will start with, we'll get the Vince stuff out of the way first, because the same day that Hulk Hogan passed, it turns out Vince McMahon was in a car accident in Connecticut, like an hour or so before Hulk Hogan passed away. Like, that's how. So apparently he was speeding, like going like 80 to 90 miles an hour, and he rear-ended a woman. They hit a guardrail, totaled both cars. Then on the opposite side of the street, a third car was coming and hit the debris. Their car also had to be towed. Turns out that person, car driver number 3, is a WWE employee, apparently, according to the name. According to the name on the police report that Post Wrestling was able to see, it matched the name of somebody who works in the digital content department of WWE. So at first the information that came out, like that we had on Thursday, was that because TMZ Sports broke the news that McMahon totaled his 2024 Bentley when he rear-ended a 2023 BMW 430, colliding with a wooden guardrail. Debris from the crash entered the other lane, which caused the driver of the Ford Fusion, who ended up being the WWE employee, to collide with it. All 3 cars were towed. Vince was released on $500 bond. However, he was charged with reckless driving and following too closely, resulting in an accident. Fortunately, no one at the time appeared to be injured. However, the woman he hit went to Facebook and said what happened. Apparently, she ended up, by the time I got to write the article, the post was gone. She had made her page private, but luckily, the AP even reported on what she said. But luckily, Post Wrestling was able to, they had gotten to it first. They put the information out there. So her name is Barbara Doran. She is the founder and CEO of BD8 Capital Partners. And from what I've talked to some other people about, she apparently is a frequent guest on like CNBC. So this is the lady that Vince is probably going to wish that he had not hit. But she says, according to her Facebook post, he hit her while driving 80 to 90 miles an hour and had been weaving in and out of traffic. She alleges that an unmarked state trooper had been following McMahon as he sped down the highway. She said her quote was, "Lucky to have survived a horrific car crash on the way up to catch the ferry to Martha's Vineyard last Thursday morning. Both cars totaled. Vince McMahon, former chair of WWE, hit me going 80 to 90 miles an hour as I drove in the right lane of the narrow Merritt Highway built in the 1930s. I and the dog are mostly fine, but was lucky to have kept control of the car more or less as I shot off the road after being catapulted over 100 yards. An unmarked state trooper had been following him as he sped in and out of cars down the highway, and he had just turned on his lights to pull McMahon over, but he was not in time." She continues by saying, both front wheels of McMahon's Bentley were sheared off and his airbags deployed, probably saving him from significant injury. The trooper told me afterwards that McMahon saw me last minute and swerved, smashing into my left rear, but that if he had hit me full on, there might have been a very different ending for me. And so, of course, like I said, she has since made her page private. And McMahon has been ordered to appear in Stanford Superior Court on August the 26th. And this was interesting because before we found out even more details, it was just that he was in a wreck. Doc Chris Mueller, who writes for Bleacher Report, his dad worked for WWE back in the day, and he posted on Blue Sky that his dad always told him that Vince drove like an idiot. So,
I mean, like that tracks.
Not a surprise.
Yeah. You know what's so terrible, and anybody who's seen the movie will understand this reference, but all I can picture is the scene in Roadhouse when Brad Wesley, who was the douchebag heel, like bad guy in it, was like driving his fancy ass car up and down the road and just swerving all around and just being a bonehead. Like there was a whole scene in the movie, and he's got it like, that's all I can picture when that's where my brain is with this guy. Is all I can picture is it's like with 47, where they talk about how he's like loves to say he's a great golfer, but he actually does all this like shady crap and I used to work on a golf course. So exactly, that's what I'm saying is like, what? These guys are shady golfers and shady drivers. And like, of course they are, because these are ultra rich maniacs who have never been held accountable for their bad behavior ever in their life.
Sounds like Barbara Doran might try to change that.
I hope she freaking, like, seriously, I hope because of this, she goes and looks at the Janelle Grant story and digs deep as hell into it and turns it into a national MFN story. Because how cool would that be? Get that crap on CNBC.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people who were like,
when Triple H is standing behind.
Yeah. And they're showing it.
Bob had to ask me. He's like,
they aired it during SmackDown, but then apparently they aired it again last night at SummerSlam, and there's video of the crowd booing the screen. I'm like,
yeah,
they
and
booed
they
Dana White twice.
Muted it out from what I
can
understand.
So they booed Dana White twice, but then last night they also booed Triple H standing out there with
literally we were
with WWE Hall of Famer and president of this country.
Dude, it was so crazy. It was on ABC this morning, and Bob literally looked, he was like, is Triple H standing behind Donald Trump right now? And I was like, and he's like, what?
And
why? And I was like,
he was there for some fitness and nutrition shit, the thing that he met with RFK Jr. about like 3 weeks ago. Then apparently they were talking about it, like Trump apparently wants to kill NIL, which is interesting considering WWE keeps recruiting NIL players.
He doesn't know what he's talking about, just like always.
Yeah, and so Triple H is just standing there like nodding along. But the screen pans, I don't remember if they showed it last night, but the full clip, when it pans out, Linda McMahon is down on the other end of that table. She is the
head of the.
She is the department.
She is the Secretary of Education. A1 head of our education department.
She is the A1 head. Also, a reminder: currently named in a lawsuit alongside Vince McMahon and WWE and TKO from 8 former ring boys. So
for protecting.
Lest we forget, I will certainly not, and I will remind you.
For protecting and continuing to employ one or many known pedophiles who groomed and preyed on young boys
and failed to protect them, which is what the lawsuit is saying, that they should have protected them.
Oh yes.
Because their argument is like, well, they weren't employees. Well, because they're underage, so no, they were not employees.
That's even worse.
They were getting paid, so they were getting paid cash. Let
me tell you what your insurance agent would tell you.
And allegedly they were getting paid cash for their
Let me tell you what your insurance agent would tell you about that, is that because their blanket insurance doesn't cover them covering up for pedophiles, I would tell them not to do that, because their insurance would not actually cover anything that was going on. And the insurance company would actually come in and potentially pay part of your lawsuit. But because you were looking the other way, they wouldn't have to pay that, which they love to not have to pay things. That is
imagine that.
They want the money in the market. They don't want the money in your hands. So,
no.
So that's what I would tell a person if I were their insurance agent in that situation. Is definitely do not do that, because it will void your entire insurance contract. So there we go. We are not happy about these things.
No.
And I don't know what to say about this, except that like, what an affluent situation where this guy's probably going to pay way too little for doing a lot of harm. I'm really glad no one was like seriously injured or killed in this situation.
Well, she has had, apparently she has gone to the hospital. She's had x-rays or lab work and blood work done. So physically she was able to walk away, but she has, according to that Facebook post, she had some lab work done and she had some x-rays done. So
no,
we'll see how this TBD. So yes, August 26th is when he's supposed to go to court. Who knows if they will push it out or whatever. I'm sure it sounds like Barbara Doran's gonna probably make sure that doesn't happen if she can help it. But yeah, so The legal, as I tweeted the other day, I am once again writing about Vince McMahon's legal trouble.
Well, I mean, I guess since that's the stuff you're getting paid for, then maybe it's good that he keeps acting like a jackass.
Fair. Yes. And a lot of people kept saying, make the comments, the Grim Reaper was so close. The car didn't do its job. However, and I know we do not live in a perfect world, but if we did, or if the universe somehow conspires for it to happen, I'm glad he didn't, because that means he's one day closer to standing trial in the Janelle Grant case. So
sort of where I'm at on that.
Hopefully it will go to trial, but he needs to, at the very least, I would like him to live through that.
Me too. No, I completely agree with you 100%. I'm actually in this particular case, because I hope that does come to bear. Yes.
But my friend made a really good point. He was like, how crazy would that have been if Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon died the same day?
Same day.
He was like, could you imagine?
That would be weird. I
was like, it was already weird enough the way they were treating the Hogan stuff. They did the 10 bell salute and video package on SmackDown, the following Raw, and on NXT.
Yeah.
And so I was like, can you imagine? I was like, if they acted this, I was like, I can't even imagine how they're going to handle whenever Vince dies.
It's going to be like when, I hate to be like this, but it's going to be like when the Queen died, except like, who knows what the line of succession is, but it's going to be like huge. Like that's,
I don't know what WWE, it's going to WWE, the WWE propaganda is going to be insane.
Yeah,
which is also, speaking of propaganda, I have not watched the Netflix show because I know it's just more propaganda of it, even though it's backstage look, it's still what they want you to see.
Is there another Netflix doc?
Yeah, it started last week. It's called Unreal, and it's the thing that's following the following the writer's room, and which is made up of, remember they showed the trailer a few months ago, and that's how we figured out it's all white men who are right for WWE.
Now.
There's no women.
Yeah, now it's coming back to me now. Yep.
Yes. So that show finally started airing last week, and I've seen a couple of clips on Twitter, and
in my head, I just thought to myself, just when I need another room full of white men telling people.
Exactly. So
I'm
there's
sorry,
one clip,
you guys. I'm really sorry.
Listen, it's the reality we live in.
There's just some serious dorks.
There's one clip, and it's Paul Levesque is talking to Shane Hurricane Helms, and they're backstage, and he this part I think was not scripted. Maybe it was, but it's really telling. But he talks about how good the women in NXT are. He was like, they're like light years ahead of the men. He was like, they pick things up like that. They come in, they're ready to go. They're already well ahead of the men. He was like, it's like 5-1. He's like, for with an amount of women who are like ready to go. And so he basically just said the men in NXT suck. The women are great. It's basically what he got. It was so funny. But then also, you're in charge of booking. So you could book the women better. I mean, Shawn Michaels books them pretty well for NXT, but on the main roster, you are the one who handles that. Just like you could decide to have Evolution every year if you wanted to. You have the book.
Well, and you can not only decide to have it, but you could actually plan it out and put it on your schedule like a normal pay-per-view, and not just throw it out there 7 weeks before because there's some crazy BS going on. And doing the same thing that we're seeing from the top, which is look over here. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing is really crappy.
Right.
Look at some other trick over here stuff.
Yeah, which is what they do.
That's Vince McMahon 101 right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so that's exactly what they do. And yes, Colin, we were talking about that, about that video and how they played it during SmackDown, and then they played it during SummerSlam, and there was video of it airing during SummerSlam and the crowd booing the screen.
Yeah, and then they aired it on my national news that I actually sort of trust, and it kind of made me ill. So.
Yeah, it's gross.
It gets every week. It gets a little weirder up in there.
I can confirm
the shots of people that just pretty much like Big Bird's gonna. Actually, I'm sure Big Bird's probably not. He's especially right now. He's probably pretty mad at the situation. That was a bad example. Anyway.
Imagine the revisionism and legacy washing, but he was the voice of wrestling while I was growing up. Oh yeah, that's 100. It's gonna be.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be so like gross.
100 times worse.
It's gonna be
thankfully there are wrestling historians who can.
Yeah, right. But they're gonna get hammered. I mean, look at how they. I mean, I always know when those guys are doing their job just based on their replies. It's just like, I mean, I follow, especially someone like, because I follow BJ because we end up talking a lot, so he gets aggregated to my timeline a lot, and I just see the ridiculous crap that is in his replies, and I just sort of spread it out because I know I've been in Dave's replies before and seeing the the brain geniuses that live in
and then you've got like Jimmy Corderas, who was the former WWE referee, who his thing now is, even though he no longer works for the company, he just white knights them all the time, constantly. Like, and last night he tried to defend somebody made a tweet about like a company protecting pedophiles, and he somehow was like, but Tony is worse because and Simple like gave his reasoning, and then he ended up deleting the tweet, and he apologized and said he had a lot to learn and whatever crap, but he's constantly just like putting them over and talking about how great they are, and he attacks anybody like BJ who says one
anything
wrong thing
honest.
So there's the WWE has, which is gonna the day that Vince McMahon dies, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna have people like Jimmy Corderas, Bruce Pritchard, these people who Kevin Nash, these people who go on their podcasts and say that they're nothing. The ones who say they're nothing without Vince, they wouldn't be anything without Vince. If Hulk Hogan if Hulk Hogan saved wrestling, then I can only imagine what they're going to say about Vince McMahon. Apparently, he invented wrestling in the 1980s. It never existed before then.
I'm sure that's true.
Vince McMahon created it, and then he created Hulk Hogan, and then together they made. So it's weird because Hulk Hogan saved wrestling.
Is that like when Al Gore invented the internet?
So Vince McMahon created wrestling, but then it must have been bad because Hulk Hogan saved it.
Right.
So I don't really know how that.
But also that makes Vince a hero.
Right. And the greatest who ever lived or some shit.
For something. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Listen, if the show is still around when that happens.
Oh no, we're gonna make sure that we can have what we'll do is we'll do a special episode, and understanding that whatever, but we'll do a special episode of here's the actual history of this person.
We need to get let's line up some. I mean, I'm sure Big Dave is going to be in high demand that week, but we'll see if we can make
sure. But like, it wouldn't be the worst thing to hear it out of like lady in a lady voice.
Yeah, we'll get.
It would be hilarious. We could like just go and look up history and just like say like history about him and
just pull up old observers, and then we'll read them to you.
Yeah, exactly. And we can cite them as actual. Hold on now.
Maybe, and sources. You know what? We could do like a thing where like all the super chats go to like domestic abuse survivors or like sexual assault survivors or something like. Yeah, we can do something good with super chats, and
that'd be good. I would like that. So, like, I guess that we'll do the counter propaganda. And that's what we'll do with that if we did. So that's what we can. I mean, the guy could live forever. Like,
I was gonna say, at this point, this man is gonna be like a cockroach.
I mean, his mom, and I guess the whole thing is like his mom and grandma lived like into their like 90s and 100s. Like he has like long.
That means there's plenty of time for him to go on trial, and knock on wood.
Well, that's my hope is that he lives long enough to actually have to like sit in a courtroom and face a jury. That'd be that day. Would a real one.
My hope is that Janelle Grant gets her day in court.
Me too.
And that Vince lives long enough to have to be in that courtroom when it happens. That's my hope. And that is
seconded passed.
So that's the Vince McMahon thing. Oh, also, so there are so many WWE things. I guess before we get into Cody, we know that they're going to continue to counterbook. Like they've already said, we're going to counterbook. Oh no, they've said they're going to.
Oh, now they admitted it finally?
Yes. And then this time their next fun they're going to counterbook obviously Forbidden Door, but then the one that they just announced this week is they're doing a 2-night super show in Japan the same weekend that AEW is honoring the memory of Antonio Inoki with Wrestle Dream.
Oh,
I mean, yes, there's a time zone difference, so don't get in my comments and be like, well, it's not technically the same day because of the time zone.
Okay.
The point is they're pretending they give a shit about Antonio Inoki or wrestling in Japan, and they're doing a 2-night super show. And they're already saying like that Io Sky's gonna be there, Kairi Sane's gonna be there, Julia, like they're sending all their Japanese wrestlers to the super shows.
So goody. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get to go to Japan and hang out with his buddies, and he'll have to wrestle for 2 nights.
Yeah.
He finally has to do some work.
I think tickets go on sale like August 30th or something like that. But yeah, so I was like, oh, because at first I saw the super show in Japan and I didn't really think about it. And then I went back and I looked at the dates and I was like, wait a minute, we just talked about the Wrestle Dream dates. And I was like, they're going to be in Japan the same night as Wrestle Dream, which Wrestle Dream is literally a show that was created by Tony Khan to honor Antonio Inoki, because the very first show was on his birthday. Yes, rent-free.
Completely.
Rent-free for
one of the very few places.
A number 2 company who doesn't
who's tanking right now.
Right.
Who's not going to survive into the next week.
Right.
What is happening right now? That's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
That shows, you know what? That shows like a fundamental, like that's dumb because like, look at the economics.
Yeah.
Like Tony's established Wrestle Dream. I know it's only 1 year old, but it's at least established.
No, they've had 2. No, wait, I think this is the 3rd or 4th one.
Oh, okay. So there we go.
This will be the 3rd. I think this is the 3rd one.
Okay. So this is an established event. So even in spite of economics, you can justify this probably. And you may or may not make the same amount you made last year, but you might get some good turnout and it continues it. But now WWE is just starting a new thing from scratch. Japan's in a recession. The yen is worth.
And on top of that, as we've talked about before, because we talked to who was it? We talked to Justin, so I asked him, I was like, what do Japanese fans like? How did they view WWE? Did they view it as like real competition? Right. He was like, no, it's just a form of entertainment. Like it's entertainment TV. They don't take it seriously as wrestling. I mean, obviously the draw is going to be Io. I assume Shinsuke is going to be there. Julia. Asuka. So Asuka, they're hoping that fans will come see them. And I think AJ Styles is supposed to be on that show. Okay. AJ obviously wrestled for New
Japan.
Finn
Balor should probably show up.
Yes, I think people who wrestled in New Japan, basically.
Yeah, right.
Or if they're Japanese wrestlers. So they're hoping that will bring out those fans who normally would not care about WWE. Again, the time zone difference. I don't know how much that's going to affect, but yeah. So that's how they're counter booking. Maybe
I don't know. That seems silly to me because wouldn't those fans be at the AEW show because they would be able to see more
it's
people?
In Japan though, so
I see what you're saying. I see what that's Wrestle Dream.
So the Japanese fans who don't really even care about WWE, they're betting on them wanting to see the Japanese wrestlers that they don't get to see anymore, or Finn Balor or AJ Styles, who all used to wrestle in New Japan. That's what they're trying to do. But yeah, so that's what's happening. Hello, Ray Rays. Thank you for joining us. Crash said, would AEW do a joint show with New Japan and JPW in Japan? It's kind of long overdue. Well, they did. They did Wrestle Dynasty in January. That was AEW, ROH, New Japan, and CMLL. I have not heard. They've not officially said they're doing one this year, but I assume it's good. I was telling Nikki the other day, if it's going to happen, I bet they'll announce it at Forbidden Door.
That sounds like a good place to do it. That's only that's closer than I probably want to think
it's
about.
August the 24th is when Forbidden Door is. So I assume that's when the announcement's going to get made. And then we'll talk about Forbidden Door a little bit because some of it's been made. So we'll get to more of that. But keeping with the trend, there were.
Yeah, you got to have to fill me in on this one a little. So
okay, so there's two things. There's the you know what? Let's just get the Blake Monroe promo out of the way, and then we'll circle back. We'll go to Cody because that can feed right into AEW. Well, I mean, not that Blake. Well, Blake does too because
I hear you.
Okay, so
I'm
Blake
following
Monroe,
your logic. Go with it. Good. It's good
Blake
logic.
Monroe,
solid.
The former Mariah May turned heel at NXT. No, at Evolution. She turned heel. She turned on Jordan. Her first big feud is Jordan Grace.
Okay,
makes a ton of sense. Mariah May being a heel, or Blake Monroe being a heel, also makes a ton of sense. She's good at it. Yeah. And now she has WWE promos to read.
Oh no.
And they're terrible, as we know, especially when it comes to women, because women can only, fit into certain categories and certain tropes, and that's what we do here. So I didn't watch the show because I typically don't watch NXT, but I saw people talking about the promo because it was the first thing I saw about it was Doc, who I was talking about before. He said, "So, does she think she should get the title because she's hot? Like that's." And so I was like, I didn't really think much of it. And I was like, oh God, there's no telling. Well, then I saw the promo came across my feed and I watched it. And she was, if you didn't see Jordan Grace prior to what she looks like now, before she was into bodybuilding, when she was early in her career, she was not as muscular. She, clearly a bigger wrestler, not typically what you see, especially in WWE, with women. And Jordan Grace has always been a powerhouse. She's a hoss. Jordan's one of my favorites. I love her. Like, I was a huge fan of hers in TNA, and she's only gotten better. I think she's incredible. And so she, of course, did not look like the typical wrestler that we see. And then she got really into bodybuilding a few years ago and she did some bodybuilding competitions, and she has kept kind of that physique, and she's very muscular, and she became the juggernaut and that type of thing. But for whatever reason, Blake decided she was going to bring up what she used to look like. And she said something, makes a reference to her being an extra. She found a picture of Jordan when she was an extra for WWE. Back when she was first getting started, before she was in shape. And then she found a picture, puts it, and Jordan, listen, like Nikki said, Jordan Grace has always been hot. Like, she was hot then, she's hot now. What are we talking about? And like I told Nikki, Jordan Grace would have kicked her ass then. She kick her ass now.
Kick her ass now.
Jordan, and that's not to say anything about Blake, because I think Blake Monroe was a good wrestler. I enjoyed her in AEW. I liked her a lot. So, but then she said, they post up this picture of her, and she's like in her gear that kind of looks like a swimsuit. And I'm not sure if I remember, Jordan did a thing with those different female wrestlers who had different body types and sizes, and they did like this photo shoot and bra and underwear and stuff. And it was a really cool thing. It was very empowering, very awesome. So I'm not sure if that's where that image came from, but she said, she was like, she's not championship material. She looks like gym membership material.
Oh.
And like the crowd was sort of like, they would boo because they were supposed to, but like the crowd was kind of quiet. Like, I don't think they understand who Blake Monroe is yet because they've switched her into this heel, but the promo was so, the promo was terrible. Jordan is like, NXT fans seem to love Jordan too. And it was so gross. It was very Attitude Era promo. I was like, both women are better than this. Like, what are we doing? And especially because that's not what Jordan looks like now. And also, when Jordan looked like that, she was a multi-time champion. Like, Jordan has been Knockouts champion. I can't even remember how many times she was Knockout champion. She was Knockout tag team champion. Like, she won literally like every title that just about nearly every single title she could win and Impact. Regardless of what her body looked like. So clearly she is one of the best wrestlers TNA has ever had. And they kept belting her with different titles because they knew how good she was. And I don't know what we're doing here. Like, it doesn't do anything for Blake. The promo was awful. And the crowd was not reacting to it. They just booed where they could. I don't. Oh, and then she made a comment and she was like, I know that she's really worked on herself, but when she's home alone by herself at night, she still feels like that Jordan. Just like, I was like, what are we doing?
That's not good.
It was
not
just
cool.
It was awful. Like
just the little tidbits right there are pretty tone deaf. It's August of 2025.
Right.
It just at this point with name calling and shaming and all of these ridiculous, like, are you hot or like really? Are you hot or not in 2025? Is that what we just did?
Yeah, and so Blake was caught because she's like, well, because I'm like sort of like taking off her jacket, talking about how she is championship material, and she's one that you build a division around.
That
is what
sucks
she
for
said.
both of them.
It does, because I was like,
that's because like we know, like for better or worse, that was given to her as a scripted promo for her to go out there and read. No matter what you say, no matter what you want to do, at the end of the day, there is no autonomy in WWE. You read the script, you do what you're told. We've read this numerous times by numerous people. It's been confirmed over and over and over and over and over. They have an entire writing team like TV.
Right.
That wasn't something she came up with in her mind.
And then considering we've seen that writer's room, which is full of all white men.
That's genuinely just tone deaf. It doesn't even like play to an audience. It's like, what is it? I swear to God, it feels like on the TV with advertising and the way that things are going right now, I swear to God, it feels like the 1980s again. It feels like the late 1980s and the early 90s, which, as my cousin likes to say, the height of the 1980s. Like, it just feels like textile, like meat is advertising on the TV again. Psychics are on my radio talking about call up the psychics. There's the Jeebus advertising all the time. And this kind of thing is happening on WWE.
Right.
What is happening right now? What
I don't know.
Year is
this
it?
This is not the nostalgia I'm looking for. When I look for comfort nostalgia, it's not this shit. It's just...
What is happening? This is
I know.
crazy.
And so a couple of people are like, well, that's what Blake gets. She left AEW. And no. Don't
It doesn't
her.
matter. She went to get paid. Good for her.
She went to her dream. I am not going to fault her for taking her dream job.
That's dumb.
I'm not going to... She did not write those. Yes, she read it because she has to. But that's not on Blake Monroe. That is on hold people accountable for what they do. And that's the person who wrote that promo, that is on them. That is not on Blake for having to do that. It's just...
She did her job. She took those words and she went out and she delivered them the way she was supposed to. The crazy thing is, like,
yes, a lot of those promos did have Tony on the other side of those, but Mariah can cut a promo. I mean, her first, when she was champion, the first few were not the greatest, but she eventually got there, and she's a solid promo. I mean, clearly she's no Toni Storm, but who is? Maybe Athena. But like,
I think
she's no Toni Storm. But like, Mariah Blake can hold her own. We've heard her do it. She can do a solid promo, and anything is better than that.
That just sounds like the worst way to build any storyline,
especially against somebody like Jordan. Like that's the thing that's the only thing you can come up against Jordan Grace. She's that damn good that you have to go back to what she looked like 7 and 8 years ago.
It's just a weak sauce. Like, that's how you're going to start a feud between two of your biggest stars in NXT.
Right. And you're going to build you maybe building your division around Blake. And that's how you start it. And you can do the mean girl stuff. You can do the mean, because that's what the glamour is. Her character has always kind of been a mean girl, and she can do it without doing that. But WWE falls in these tropes that women only fit in certain boxes, and they have to fit these tropes, especially down in NXT. And it's really, and what's even more unfortunate is NXT is typically booked. The women are typically booked better than they are on the main roster, and
that's too bad.
That's what they're giving her to work with.
That's really unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm
not surprised.
No, disappointed, but
pretty
not
disappointing.
I don't know where they're gonna put. I don't know. I assume Jordan responds this week, and who the hell knows how that's gonna go, and if they're gonna do the same kind of dumb stuff with her. But yeah. So there's that. But then speaking of former AEW wrestler who are now in WWE, Cody Rhodes did an interview with The Ringer. He did. He also did one with Bill. Did one with Bill Simmons.
Simmons.
Let's not forget, Bill Simmons is the producer behind the Vince McMahon documentary that Netflix aired last year. So let's just keep that in mind. He said that he didn't want to ask Cody about Vince McMahon because he didn't want to get a shitty answer. And then if he did a follow-up, he would get an even shittier answer. And Cody is like, yeah. And they're kind of like mocking people who actually ask those questions, who ask the important things. It was gross. And I don't know what Cody's doing. And I was like, Bill Simmons is not really a surprise from him, but it's kind of unfortunate to see Cody kind of fall into that. But then Cody Rhodes is, he's big mad, apparently. He said that he felt disrespected in the AEW, and this is the full quote. He said, "There's clearly bad blood, but there's also clearly respect and love. In the end, the way I see it is, if I felt disrespected ever at WWE, that's one thing. That's a company that was built. That's the Yankees. That's the flagship of it all. If I ever felt at WWE that I was a number on a sheet, maybe, but feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends that we built, feeling disrespected there, I wouldn't stand for it. Brandy and I both, I'm so blessed to have her. It was one of those things where it's like, fuck it, I did way more here than you think, and you're going to find out the moment I'm out the door. I don't believe in cold-hearted, backstabbing type of revenge. The greatest revenge on earth is success. I felt like we were sitting on something wonderful, something great, a huge, potentially what I was doing with the American Nightmare as a bad guy, as a good guy, something in between. We're sitting on some magic. If I'm not going to do it in the house that I literally, with Matt, Nick, and Kenny built, then buddy, I'm going elsewhere." So I took this as he is turning heel tonight, and that's how, and he's going to be heel with the character that he claims AEW wouldn't let him be a heel with. But he's being a little revisionist.
A little?
Let's not pretend that Cody was not one of the most over wrestlers in that company.
True.
And people were there to see him. People loved him, especially coming from ROH when he was doing even New Japan, but obviously ROH, when he's out there shaking his hand, shaking people's hands, going to the Indies, rebuilding himself. That people loved that man.
Yeah,
I was one of them.
Yep.
I have met him as a fan. He's been super kind to me. I dealt with him a little bit when he used to, before Tony, it was Cody who did the media calls. And so I was on those calls with Cody. Cody has always been somebody I have really enjoyed. So I mean, maybe, and I'm sure there is some truth to how he feels, because we still don't know the exact reason he left. And maybe one day when NDAs are not involved or whatever, maybe we'll hear Cody's version of why he left. He's generally been pretty, he doesn't say anything. I think that's why this kind of stood out, because he doesn't typically talk like this. He typically will just say, things didn't work out. I had some disagreements. It's unfortunate, but I had to go back to WWE, or I felt like WWE is the best place for me. But people seem to think, and I would not be surprised, that WWE was always the end game for him. Like, he wanted
one of those people.
And somebody made the point, the whole undesirable to undeniable was him getting back to WWE. That was, he built himself into, to them, he was undesirable. They told Cody, you will never be champion. We don't see that for you. He went and he rebuilt himself on the indies. He went to New Japan. He joined in ROH. He joined the Bullet Club. He reinvented himself. He became this incredible, the American Nightmare is an incredible character. I love babyface Cody. Heel Cody is great when he does it right. Like the stuff he was doing, like, he can do it. And
you can't take Cody out of the first several years of AEW and have AEW that we enjoy. Like, you just can't. You can't separate him from the AEW that began in those first years before he left. What's weird about this is that even from places like Dave and so forth, they always say that they're not going to say anything about that incident. This is like more than anyone said or intimated than anything, because the big thing all up till this week and this shit is nobody's going to tell the truth, like, not the truth,
but they just were going to not talk about it.
They were not going to say anything. The agreement was to go our separate ways and keep our mouths shut in this business.
And we wish each other well. We'll talk because anytime Tony is asked about Cody, he's always nice, always positive about him. And the Cody has been the same way, which is why I think it's because he's turning heel tonight, and that's the start of it. I mean, not the start of it, because we've already seen flashes of it. Like I mentioned it a couple weeks ago about he put John Cena through a table, forced him to sign a contract
in the course of his evolution.
So I feel like, and he's hinted that he would go heel. I feel like this was just another piece of that, because the timing just felt very odd. Like, why are you doing this 3 days before your match?
I mean, he's pretty smart about these things. I mean, you cannot take away how intelligent he is when it comes to the business of wrestling. He definitely got. I mean, that was the thing that he really said when he left was when it was time. My dad always said that you knew when it was time to move from a territory.
Right.
It's kind of his way. And so he just felt like this was kind of what he got.
And he felt that way because the heel turn was not, he didn't want to turn heel there. The reason the fans turned on me. The reason they started to dislike you was that Anthony Ogogo promo.
Well, there was that. I mean, and I think people loved him so much, and he had taken himself. This cannot be overlooked. He took himself out of the title picture from the beginning, and because they were so committed to their gimmick of the stipulation thing, they were never. And people just, I mean, we wanted the belts on him. I mean, I would have been totally fine with the fuck.
They could have come up with, they're smart people. They could have come up with some technicality for him that they could have worked around to belt Cody to make him the world champion. And he built that TNT title to be what it was. Mm-hmm. That TNT title was huge because of Cody Rhodes. And I guess that does make it seem, I mean, I guess then you can lend credence to the idea that he came into this with the entire intent of becoming viable for the WWE, and he took himself out of that picture to make people want him more and all of that. I mean, he's not dumb. No,
it makes me wonder if he felt disrespected, because this has gone around sometimes. He wanted him, because he mentioned Brandy there. There was a lot of talk about how they were not going to
That was some of it, but I have heard that was not the reason why. It did not have anything to do with Brandy, is what I've heard. I wonder, people tried to.
Do you think this entire thing was just the perfect opportunity for him to just turn heel and use the most obvious thing on a table?
Yes, it feels.
He's just that smart. I mean, he's just smart enough to just enough to get everybody. We're sitting here talking about it. I mean,
right? I don't. Was this his goal when he left the company? Was his goal to eventually turn heel in WWE? Possibly. I think his entire goal in going back there was to win the title. To win that title that his dad never had. I think that legitimately was what his driving force was. But now that he feels like he's in a place, he's been there long enough that he's established himself. The John Cena heel turn was god awful. Friday, he basically turned back into a baby face. His heel turn lasted 153 days.
Our long national nightmare is over.
Yes, but now we have our new nightmare because
the American nightmare. See, there we go. He can't be a heel while he's trying to promote Peacemaker anyway.
Fair. Yeah, he was heel, and he's not going to retire. The company's biggest babyface of the last 25 years is not going to retire a heel. No, there's no way. We all knew this. We all knew this was coming. As soon as he turned heel, or he's going to retire a babyface. It's absolutely happening, and Cody will probably win the title back at SummerSlam. Guess who has the title match tonight at SummerSlam? Guess what the main event is for SummerSlam.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that WWE booking is predictable?
Shocking, I know.
Next you're going to tell me Santa Claus doesn't exist.
About that.
Actually.
Don't ask McFoley.
That dude loves Santa Claus.
But what was really interesting, so this clip from this quote comes out Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes out during Dynamite, after Dynamite, in that time frame.
Timing.
The Young Bucks got on the Twitter machine.
Uh-oh.
And tweeted You know what hurts the most is the lack of respect, you know? That's what hurts the most.
Those guys.
So,
Oh,
obviously, it can
Nick.
play into the fact because earlier that night, they came out for their match, got the jobber entrance. They did not get an entrance. They got talent. The Cryon came up, talent name. Perfect. What they are doing, what the Young Bucks are doing as from after losing their EVP titles has just been brilliant. They are so good.
It's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun. So clearly, this could be a reference to that. Also playing into what Cody said, and as Nikki said, if they're still friends, they're probably trying to help his heel turn get over, and so they're playing along.
That's fair.
And then I was talking to somebody else about it, because I had sent it to another Slack, and he was like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks texted Cody and said, hey, watch this, and then went and tweeted that. And I was like, as far as we know, there is nothing, like, they're still all really good friends.
Right. We don't know.
We've always been told, and they still say, like, we're still friends with Cody. Kenny's, they all talk positively about each other. We all still are in contact.
And they make weird references to each other. They're definitely
and Cody put him over. Cody put them over on his podcast a few weeks ago with Kevin Owens, because obviously Kevin Owens is really good friends with them. He was part of Mount Rushmore, and so he put them over like maybe 6 weeks ago, if that. So like they apparently are still friends, and so this could be a little bit of the Bucks are mocking him, defending their company that they helped build, that they're still here, or they're also playing into the fact of how they are being disrespected because they're no longer EVPs. Because like they even said in their promo that they keep having these like $100,000 matches, $400,000 matches. The Bucks keep saying that it's coming out of their paycheck, and and they tweeted the company card it keeps declining.
Oh, that's right. I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like the tweet clearly goes along with their story, but it also they tweeted that at 11:50 p.m. So 11:57 p.m. So like it was right after this. So like it all just kind of plays in together. Who knows how serious that? I mean, sure, maybe they were, because at first I initially I was like, they are straight up taking a shot at Cody, and then I was like, well, it also goes into the way they were disrespected at the beginning of the show. Could be that. It could be, and it just works out well. And maybe Nikki's right. Maybe the Bucks are like, Cody's our friend. Let's help his heel turn get over. We'll tweet, and people will think that it's about that we're talking about Cody. And so
let people assume. You feed into the discourse and let them jump on the algorithm.
Right.
And
exactly.
Rage out.
And then, so I still I feel like I do think we're getting the double turn. I mean, I guess John Cena technically turned babyface Friday with his promo, and they drank a beer together in the ring. Wow. And so I guess the heel turn is officially over. And because Cody kept saying, I want the old John Cena, I don't want this John Cena. And so he got that John Cena in the promo. Some people, one of my editors, he doesn't think Cody is turning. He thinks he's just a desperate babyface who got so desperate to get this match with John Cena that he stooped to his level, which is certainly possible. But to me, this all feels like a heel turn, and this quote is part of it, that he is playing the media, because Cody's very good at his job.
Oh, yes.
He is very good at what he does.
Very good.
But if he does feel disrespected, that is unfortunate. But I think that there's some revisionism there, because to act like fans didn't love him.
Oh, yeah.
Cody was one of the most over people there. It's the Anthony, and he doesn't want to admit. I mean, he did admit it like once, and then he won't really talk about it. But that Anthony Ogogo promo, that whole feud was the beginning of the end for him. And somebody said the other, I can't remember who it was. They said this is going to be real good when Cody returns to AEW in the next 5 years. Because that's been a lot of people, and myself included. I assume he will come before.
I figure that's so funny, because there's just a part of me too that always just sort of figures that he'll end up back there for some reason. It just seems like that'll happen eventually if they stay around long enough. That'll happen. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I forgot I muted myself. My mom just came over and the dogs
got excited. I saw them moving around there. I understood.
Yes, they both jumped down. Hang on one second. Let me let them out. Give me
no problem. Okay. While Sam's gone, I will keep talking to you guys if you want to talk about this Cody thing. We wanted a Homelander Cody is a good idea. But I always think of him as Homelander Cody because ever since he's gotten that look and that tattoo, that he's always kind of reminded me of that. So who's watching SummerSlam tonight? Anyone? I'm not going to be. Sam will probably be covering it. So
sorry about that.
Watch it. No worries.
But yeah, so and I apologize again if they end up barking because they're excited. That
hey, we all.
But yeah, it's very if he's disrespected, that isn't if he legitimately feels disrespected, it's unfortunate. But I've always thought like when he came to WWE, I was like, he'll go to AEW before he retires. I was like, that's the type of
it kind of feels like it in a weird, and that's as a wrestling fan, all of us that are just not like, we don't like get like worked into a shoot about it. That's very funny. I think we realize that like that's kind of the nature of sorry, Maria.
Yeah.
I think in the grand scheme of things, it's like that's how WWE rolls, man. I just feel like Cody, it's hard for me to believe now that you say it, now that you kind of tell me the timing. It's hard to, and if he is going to turn heel, which it sounds like he's going to, and that's how WWE is.
I won't, but will I be surprised if the heel turn doesn't happen? No, but
sure, of course.
I'm leaning towards the fact that the heel turn's probably happening tonight. For him to
I think in that regard, it's like you're right. They probably, if they are like secretly friends, like not secretly, but if they are all friends, they would definitely lean into that because you know what you're doing.
Yes, and I know a lot of people like to hate on the Bucks. I am not one of them.
No,
they are extremely intelligent. Cody is very intelligent about this business, so are Nick and Matt. They are extremely, like, I already knew that they were just from watching them for the last 10 years or whatever, but now I'm reading their book, and
so good.
I am on the Nikki, because it's our friend's book. He gave it to us to borrow forever ago. Nikki finally finished it. I just got to the part where they've just signed with TNA.
Okay.
Is where I'm just at that part. But like, and just watching them, like they are very intelligent when it comes to the wrestling business. So
thank you, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Again, we will tell you if it was not for them, they are the ones who pushed for
get them
Young Bucks. And they will tell you, the Young Bucks say all the time, if it were not for Alex and Shelley, Alex and Sabin, there would be no.
They kept pushing for it. They kept pushing it. That book is great. I'm glad you guys are reading it. It's an excellent.
It's been really good.
Fun read.
It is a fun read. Yeah, it's funny also because they used to have their own. Surprisingly, they had their own wrestling promotion. Actually, they had their own indie promotions, and one of them they got big enough that they were running they would run a skating rink. That's how big their promotion had gotten, and they brought in Christopher Daniels, who was really big in Southern California, to come main event their show. Well, then he runs into them again at TNA and doesn't remember that he met them or that he wrestled on their show. And they were like, we were not about to tell him. Yes, the book has been really good so far. And it just talks about like what they like, how they started, because they started with backyard wrestling, how they were training. Also, there's a story about how they couldn't get booked at PWG because Nick offended Super Dragon, which is really fun because I had never heard that story because I knew that they had been in PWG and I was like, what do you mean they couldn't get booked in PWG? And it's been a really good read. And they talked about meeting Kenny Omega for the first time. They talk about meeting like Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. And so like all these people who will eventually Scorpio Sky, they talk about meeting him. And so like, it's funny how like all of this is going to come back once AEW forms. And so it's been a really enjoyable read so far.
It really it kind of makes, once you finish it, it almost makes what they've been doing, even though it was annoying at times, makes it make sense.
Yeah.
a little bit more. And that's why I was probably a little more patient than some other people, because I had read the book fairly recent to when they started doing this EVP gimmick. And I was like,
I love the EVP
there's
gimmick.
a method to this madness.
Yeah, and I knew even without reading the book, I knew what they were doing, because
now
I've watched them do it, and I watched them do it in Ring of Honor. I watched them do it in New Japan. I knew what they were doing, and they're so good at it. But they're
nerds. They're totally nerds
they're
about
good
it.
at making people hate them.
Oh yeah.
And people, I mean, some people hate them just to hate them because they don't like that spot monkey stuff, but they're actually very psychological. They understand wrestling psychology.
Not bad for a t-shirt company, huh?
Right, not bad. Yes, the Bucks character work is fantastic. They are killing it with this version. Like,
I love we have to go around and make up with everybody because we've been douchebags for 2 years. Yes. That's so awesome.
I think Nikki said, was it Daniels or Kazarian? I'm pretty sure they do talk about both of them, but I think Daniels is the one who main evented. I don't think it was Kaz. I mean, it has been like a week and a half since I last picked up the book, but I'm pretty sure
love that their parents couldn't get them to stop like wrestling and monkeying around in the house, to the point where their dad like made a deal with them where he was like, you have to work for me and then I will build you a freaking ring outside.
Yes. And he built 2 of them because when they moved to their new house, they had to build them a new one,
but they got better at it because they made the second one more springy and they learned from the first one. I love it.
Right, exactly.
Their family is so cool. It's amazing. Their parents, their family being the amount of, despite the fact it was like, well, we couldn't get them to stop flipping around, so we're going to make them something where it's safe and you can only flip around here. But also the amount of support that they gave them. I mean, a lot of parents would be like, not every parent, but many parents would either quelch those dreams or tell them to knock it off, or not necessarily be as supportive as that. And so it's really fun to read about their family situation. And I'm glad you guys are reading it. It's an excellent, a fun book. It is a
fun book.
And you guys know them so well, like that it's just giving you stuff about
them. And it's funny, like, because Nikki, I haven't got to this part of the book, but Nikki had read it and she's like, I think Doug, when he was reading it, he's the one who told us. The Super Kick Party the name for that came from the Bravado Brothers, who were former PWX champions. Like, Nikki and I watched most of their career, or a lot of their career here. They were tag team, they were wrestling, they were former tag team champions. They wrestled all the time before they split up and went solo. And then now the former Harlem is in NXT as Andre Chase, and his brother Lancelot is actually he's in politics now. He's completely out of wrestling. He's in politics here in North Carolina in like a small town. So that's what they're doing now. But that's where that came from.
That's awesome.
It came from them, which is so funny. And I was like, I had no idea that they came up with Super Kick Party. But Jermaine made a comment and says, that's all we wanted at AEW was Cody to turn into evil Homelander Cody, then turn babyface. I guess he thought he would have to go to WWE and to do it his way. Jermaine, I'm right there with you. That is the version of Cody. That is the heel Cody I wanted. I wanted the heel turn. He kept saying fans didn't want it. No, we did. We just didn't want. It was just that that Anthony Ogogo storyline ended up being what, and it's so funny because Anthony Ogogo was still. I mean, he's mostly in ROH but he had to take time off because he had surgery, and then his wife had a baby, and so he just came back to TV like a month ago, and I had forgotten he's doing some stuff with Shane Taylor Promotion now, but so like he's still there, and Cody is the one who, I mean, obviously success. I mean, the what they're doing is 2 completely different things, but it's funny that out of that situation, Anthony Ogogo is the one who was still employed by Tony Khan. And Cody Rhodes is back in the other company. But yes, it just. It's Cody. So we shall see what happens tonight, and see if he turns heel, and if this quote is part of that. And then if he doesn't, we'll just, maybe he really does feel disrespected. But I'm waiting.
He's just broken his silence,
and he's starting with he lost his smile and. Got to get it back, and he's going to turn heel and he's going to get his title back tonight. Regardless, I think he gets the title back tonight. I feel like the heel turn is coming for him to get the title. Like, he will turn heel in order to win it. And that will be his little, because it'll turn into his precious, and that's how he'll be Gollum. And he'll turn heel. Jermaine says that this version of the Young Bucks reminds them of the WWE version of Bum, Baron Corbin. I cannot agree or disagree with that because I did not pay attention to Baron Corbin that often.
I did not see that. Yeah,
I did see the Bum Baron Corbin. I just was not a fan of his, so I did not care what he was doing.
Yeah, he was weird. I always wondered what he had on Vince to get booked all the time.
He never connected with me.
Neither. He seemed like someone who had something on Vince because of the amount of TV time he got.
Yeah, he's just he's good for him. But he just for me was like, now it's now that person for me is Karrion Kross. I know he's in a storyline with Sami, but not even Sami Zayn can get me to care about Karrion Kross. Or LA Knight is the other one. I didn't get it, and I hated the his Eli gimmick in TNA. I hated it. I saw the end of Karrion Kross in TNA, didn't really care for it. I just those two, and for the people who get it and who are fans, I am happy for you. Just for me, it does not work for me. I cannot get behind it. Good for them for getting paid, and I hope the fans who do like them enjoy that Karrion Kross got a SummerSlam match that I heard was not very good, but it is what it is. So I believe that concludes Oh, well, you know what? I was going to say, I believe that concludes the WWE portion. But since we're talking about it, if you have missed it, I interviewed Dominic Mysterio on Friday. And so the interview went up yesterday. I posted it from our accounts and from my accounts. I will post it again in a little bit because he does his match with AJ Styles is tonight. It was a interesting thing. The opportunity came up. They reached out to Daily DDT because they'd reached out, I guess, to some other organizations about interviewing him. My editor was like, I'll give you first dibs. Do you want it? And I was like, sure, why not? And then started thinking about it. And I was like, well, what if they see all the Vince articles? He said his response to me in all caps was, oh, well.
That's why we love him.
Yeah. And he was like, I mean, he's like, it is what it is. He's like, it's fine. And so we did, they said it took them, so like a week after I told them yes, they finally got back to me and they're like, okay, this is the availability. Can you do it here? And I was like, I'll make it work. It was obviously during my work day, but I made it work. I was supposed to only get 10 minutes with him. I got about a little over 11 minutes with him because they had the woman that was kind of like setting things up. She texted me and she was like, can you come in a few minutes early? And I was like, yeah, sure. That's fine. And then it ended up being like a minute after I was originally supposed to go. It's fine. I mean, it was not a big deal. I was ready to go. And so I was nervous. I won't lie. Some people may say Cedric, and that's fair. But I think Dominic is probably the biggest person I've interviewed. I mean, I have interviewed Nyla, but it was after she was champion. She was the women's champion. So Dominic is probably the biggest interview I've done. And so but I had the questions ready. I did have to pre-submit some of them, but it's because it was sponsored by. He's being sponsored by Chase Freedom Unlimited, which you will see throughout the interview. I thought we'd mention it one time. We were going to bury it at the end of the article, but he kept working it into his answers in very funny ways that I had to put it at the top. And it was just, I was like, people aren't going to understand it. And he's talking about how he was sending chocolates to Liv while she's rehabbing her injury. And he talks about, I won't give them away because there's two really other funny examples that they gave, but Dom did talk to us like we were friends. Like when I got in there, he's like, hey, Samantha, like he had known me and he was really kind. He's very funny. And then his answers were like one time we were talking about Roxanne and Raquel because Dom has been out there and has assisted them to retain their title. So I asked, I was like, I know you're busy at SummerSlam, but will you be there in their corner for their match? And he was like, so he's putting over, and he's like, well, no, they told me that. He's like, I can hide out of the ring or something if I need it, but Raquel told me she wants to do it herself. And he flexes like Roxanne does. And then he says, or I'm sorry, like Raquel does. And he says, Raquel and the other one is what he called Roxanne Perez, because Roxanne is technically replaced. She is filling in for Liv
Nice.
So it was funny. And like, I was like, well, speaking of Roxanne, so I did get him to say a few positive things about her, but he was really, really funny. And then, so I get this little, it happened over Zoom. So I get this little, they send a little chat and was like, we have time for 2 more questions. So I was like, oh, I guess this was probably the last one. And I was like, I guess I have one more, but that question will be fine. And he said, come on, Samantha, ask it. And he's like laughing, and he's like, I didn't give, because the woman's name was Sarah. He's like, I didn't give Sarah a chance. He's like, ask your question.
Oh, nice.
And so it was really good. And it ended up being the final question that's in the article. He actually gave me a really good answer.
Nice.
Actually, it's funny because my editor was like, if you can, ask him this. And so I did. I asked him about, because he said if there's a PLA in Mexico City, who does he want to face? Or who does he should main event? And who does he want to face and why? And the answer was a really, really good answer and not what I was expecting. And so I'm glad that I got to ask the question because I got a really good response out of it. But, and I learned some things about him that I didn't know before. Like, I didn't know that he didn't learn how to speak English until the 3rd or 4th grade because his mom, or as he said, Mama speaks Spanish. And so he always spoke Spanish at home until he went to school. And then that's where he learned. And so he said he spoke English at home at school and Spanish at home. And so, because I noticed, not that, I noticed when I watched when he went to AAA and then he cut a promo and his Spanish was flawless. Like, and, there's some wrestlers who don't, this just, even English is their first language, even if they come from a Latino background. And then that was why. And he talks about, and he talked about that, but it was really a great interview. He was really nice. I really enjoyed it. And so if you get a chance, please do check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's so cool.
No, I never in a million years would have expected. And it was so funny because this year is his 20th anniversary of his SummerSlam debut.
Wow.
Dominant because they did the ladder match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, and the custody of Dominic was based on the winner of that ladder match.
Oh my gosh.
Dominic this year makes 20 years. And so I told him, I was like, I was watching that when that happened, and never in a million years did I think would I have ever expected that I would have guessed or that I would have interviewed him
totally
20 years later, and that he would be Intercontinental Champion at the time that we of the interview. And I posted a picture I need to post it on Twitter. I had posted it I posted it on Instagram. But it's a picture of me talking to him and his title. He had his title with him the entire time. It was sitting on his desk or on the little table of the hotel that his Chase Freedom Unlimited had put him up in that hotel. Oh, and then of course we talked about chicken tenders. That's his thing. We talked it. So he brought up the chicken tenders. Yeah, it was really good. So even if you're not the biggest Dominic Mysterio fan, I hope that you read it because he gave me some really funny stuff. Let me tell you, that man knows how to get over a sponsor.
Awesome.
It's like he understands the assignment. I thought it was going to be one question. We'd get it out of the way. That would be it. And then we'd move on. And he figured out ways to work it into probably 3 or 4 more answers.
That's amazing.
But he made it work, and they were all really funny. So it was really great. Let's see here. Maria, was this a recent thing about what Alistair had to say about his stint in AEW, or is this the thing where he said, I feel like he said something about it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So I don't know if this is anything recent. You may have to remind me because for some reason I'm blanking. I feel like I heard something, but if it's something that's happened like within the last few days, then no, I have not heard it. But yes, so I will, if Maria responds to that, we'll come back to that. But so yes, fortunately, like I said, this was a very WWE heavy program this week, but those were sometimes that's how it happens. Most of it has nothing to do with SummerSlam, which I will be watching, and we'll report back next week if Cody turns heel.
Thank goodness, because I'll definitely need to know the resolution on that.
Yeah,
I'm sure my Twitter timeline won't blow up.
And I'm sure he's gonna cut if he does turn heel. We'll have to wait for SmackDown to hear his promo, I guess. Right. But so we'll go on to AEW for a moment. We are started. So the tag team tournament is obviously still continuing. Collision had 2 matches this week. So we had it was FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang. That's right. I was trying. It took me a second. They've moved on to the second round, right? No, that was the second round matchup. They've moved on to the next round, right? Yeah, I think that's what because it was weird. They've done it. They had because it was Gates of Agony and Brodito were in the first round, but then FTR had their second match. Like that, the way they've done this bracket is it so
points
weird.
Or it's
no,
points,
it's just
right?
bracket. So whoever,
single elimination.
Because the Young Bucks should have lost if they were gonna keep the gimmick alive with the EVP, like how they're losing everything. They should have lost to the Outrunners.
Too, yeah.
It would have made much more sense. Get knocked out of the first round like they did against Private Party back in the very first tournament. Keep the story going. Get knocked out in the first round by the Outrunners. The Outrunners have already faced Hurtson to get the pay-per-view. They didn't have to win the entire tournament. They could have just won the first round and got knocked out in the round 2. That's how I would have done it. I think the Young Bucks not even being able to beat the Outrunners would have been a much more
too. I actually thought about it for a few minutes, and they might go that way.
Yes, and so we get the Bang Bang Gang, who I love that entrance. They brought back Card Blade, but now we have Card Colton too.
Yes.
So we have the cardboard cut out of Colton Gunn with us now too. The match I really enjoyed the way Juice and Austin worked together. I thought they were a lot of fun. Juice's, I don't know what's going on with Juice's gear. He's like wearing these black tights and the part of he's like wearing shorts over top of the tights that match Austin's gear. He's done it 2 weeks in a row. It's very Juice Robinson.
Juice Robinson is very, yes.
He's one of a kind.
He is Juice.
There is no one quite like Juice Robinson.
So true. He'll be wearing a funny
much.
hat and all kinds of crazy stuff soon.
And he cuts crazy promos, and he's great. I'm glad he's decided he's not going to pee on people anymore.
Me too. I like that.
I was not a fan. That was like
not my preference.
The only thing I was not a great thing. Crush said, "Yes, we can. Can we talk about the new Juice look? Why was he dressed like one of Dalton Castle's Peacock Boys for the FTR match? Dude, you need to go back to the Wild Man Randy Savage hairdo and your old gear." I like babyface Juice. Juice was babyface for a long time. The beard was completely different for him. And I was like, what is this? Because Juice for a long time did not have facial hair. He used to have the dreads and he would pull back in a ponytail while he wrestled.
Yeah, you're right.
He was clean shaven. He didn't have facial hair. Or if he did, it was just like a little bit. It was not that full on insane beard he had. So I enjoyed the babyface gimmick or babyface look, but he did have a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. So maybe he's gonna do that. It's just Juice. So I just look
Juice
at it
being
and I'm
Juice.
like, Juice, if anybody's gonna pull it off, is Juice Robinson.
Oh yeah.
This is just him, and it feels like him. It feels authentic to him. Not that the last stuff didn't feel authentic to him, because I think there are many sides to Juice and many layers to him. Because he used to wrestle when he had the IWGP US title. He used to wear these his pants came down to his knees, and they were red and blue, and they were these patriotic looking pants that they looked like capris. But Juice made them work because he's Juice Robinson.
Yep. He was always so great. It was all his crazy stuff that he would wear and do, and every different look. It's like, what's he going to look like today? How's he coming out today? What's his gimmick this week?
What is he going to say? And even then, because he cut some really good promos even back then. And Kevin Owens was like, Juice Robinson is the best promo in the business. And he was back when he was cutting those, Juice has always been a good promo. And so, I don't know what he's doing with this gear, because every time I'm like, what is this? I mean, it's Juice. So
just let it go. You got to let it go.
I don't even try to think too hard about it, because I'm like, that's just Juice being Juice. It's kind of where I let that be. But so unfortunately, FTR won. Young Bucks won. So I believe No, so the Young Bucks will actually because the Young Bucks beat the Outrunners, and then GOA is Ricochet doesn't want them called Gates of Agony anymore. He wants them called GOA. So GOA, actually, I thought GOA was going to win. I thought that's where we were going with this because they've been pushing them, but they lost to Brodito, who I love. Brody King, I love Bandito. I enjoyed them out as the tag team, but they are not a real tag team. As much as that ending was incredible, I love that finisher that they did, and they are a lot of fun. However, where is GYV once again? Where are the workhorsemen? Why was Kyle and Roddy? Why were they not in it? Roddy can't figure out. Roddy does not want to be in the conglomeration because Kyle says that he was never out of the conglomeration. The conglomeration is the lifestyle. He's trying to get Roddy on board. Roddy does not want to be on board. So I guess that's why they weren't in the tournament. I don't know. But so now we have Brodito is is it Brodito versus the Young Bucks? Is that the match that we're getting, or is it?
Think so.
Or is it Young Bucks? Is that the match?
I don't. You know what? I'm terrible at this.
Or is it FTR? Is it basically the final is going to come down to? It looks like it's going to come down to FTR and the Young Bucks.
Young Bucks.
Unless they're gonna have it be Brodito, just because they need somebody for the Hurt Syndicate to face at Forbidden Door. But it's looking like the theory from last week, which is FTR wins, beats Hurt Syndicate, and then they turn around and drop the titles to Christian and Cope at All Out in Toronto. Looks more and more likely. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. But as of right now, that's the way it looks like we're going.
It really does. Yeah.
And then, so that will be the Forbidden Door match, which again, I don't know why I know that AEW and New Japan, even though it's a co-branded show, it is not the way I wish it was, which is where AEW wrestlers wrestled New Japan wrestlers, and we didn't have AEW matches on here, and we didn't have New Japan matches on here. We got the fun dream matches or just whatever. And I get, like, on the one hand, like, you don't want to mess up the storylines that both companies currently have going, but I think that people can get over that.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a super show, not a, like, it kind of exists in its own thing because of what it is. It's what it felt like it was supposed to be for.
Right.
And now it's just part of, it has to be tucked into the story canon. And so then you have to be conscious of both companies' needs.
Which I get, but I just...
Oh, totally.
I wish it was... Then in that case, I don't want to take New Japan off there, but then it should just be an AEW pay. They are
I know.
It like an AEW pay-per-view. And I do think once the G1 is finished, which I believe it ends on the 18th, once that's finished, we'll start getting some of the New Japan matches announced. I absolutely think we're getting... As soon as G1 is over, I think they're going to announce Tana versus Shibata.
Nice. Yeah.
That's the only place that
makes
happen.
sense. That makes sense.
It's his retirement tour. He and Shibata got the 5-minute exhibition match. New Japan does not want him wrestling. They won't let him wrestle there. That's why he signed with AEW and ROH, was because that's what he wanted. And they were like, no. So this is technically an AEW. It's a co-branded show. It's happening in the UK.
But it's on AEW because New Japan doesn't want the thing.
They don't, if something happens.
No liability.
If something happens to Shibata, it's not on them.
Yep. Well, yeah, they won't medically clear him there.
And so. Tony is more than happy to let this match happen. So I think that's when that match is going to get announced. Okay, thank you for moved. That Bucks versus Brodito will be in the semi. I was trying to remember. I was like, isn't that who was in the graphic? I was trying to bring it back to Thursday. I was like, who did I see in that graphic? Like, yes. They really could. And then it would be, if they upset FTR to get a title match, I will complain less about them not.
I'm okay with that.
If it's not I'm still annoyed that it's not a real a legitimate tag team. I guess they have been teaming together for the last few weeks, but they are not a tag team in the sense that GOIB are a tag team. But if they knock out FTR, I will not complain about them being. I will not complain about that. Crash said that Brody monkey flipping Bandito into a 360 flash pin was ace. That was incredible. And Tony Schiavone said, "What was that?" He said, "What did I just see?" Was my reaction too. I have not heard anything about Buddy. Had the last time Buddy gave an update, he had no timetable for his return because the foot was healing slower than expected, and that's basically all he could say about it. Is it's not healing the way that they thought, and there is no timetable for his return, which is why they've got Brody doing these things and doing singles matches. However, Bandito is still ROH World Champion, but we know that doesn't matter here. So, so that will be one match at Forbidden Door, and we should know the results of those coming soon because I think that because the tournament's nearly over, so maybe by next Sunday we'll know what that match will be. And then we also we have two more Forbidden Door matches. Swerve and Okada are they are competing for the unified. I never remember what it's called. What is it? Unified
something championship.
Yeah, I never remember what that other word is.
Me either.
Because I guess I just call it the unified title because I can never remember. But that's what they're competing for. I think that'll be a really good match. I think.
Definitely.
I think Okada and Swerve was a really smart move.
I'm excited to see that match.
This match is gonna be. That match is
gonna especially with where Swerve is in his
yes,
it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think Okada I think that is the appropriate person to be Okada's first challenger for that title is somebody like Swerve, who is a former world champion, could be in the world title picture at any time. And if they are building this title to be on equal footing, then Okada needs to have matches against that caliber of talent.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really like this. I think the match is going to be great. I don't expect Okada to drop it. But I expect the match to be very,
same.
Good. And then now we know where Athena is gonna face Tony. It is not at All Out. I mean, they still could. Maybe they could do Athena versus Tony too at All Out. But their first matchup will not be in the main event of All Out. It will be at Forbidden Door. Athena cut a promo backstage talking about how she'll sign it whenever she's ready, but it doesn't matter when she signs it because the match is happening in London because Tony has had bad luck in London. Tony has wrestled on the first two Forbidden Door cards, has lost both of those matches. Athena is going to she's going to make her go 0-3, and she's going to take her title from her there. And then, so I was a little surprised by that. I mean, I guess I still would have preferred for them to wait till All Out, but you would have to do a lot of things to keep them apart. And she pinned her clean.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, they had the tag match. It was her and Billy versus Tony and who was Tony's partner? Alex Windsor. That's who it was. Fun match. Athena pins Tony. For a second, my WWE brain was like, whoa, that means Athena's going to lose. And then I was like, wait a minute, not always. Tony doesn't. Tony sometimes looks like that, but sometimes he doesn't. So it's not a given. I still feel like Athena is winning this title. What do you think about this match happening at Forbidden Door? And do you think Tony retains, or do you think Athena wins it?
Well, I think Athena is going to win it. I don't know if it's going to be like what the situation is with this. Like, I just don't see, how do you have Tony lose in London?
She's already lost in London before, right? Well, no, I guess it's been at Forbidden Door that she's lost, not at Wimp, because those were at
Wembley. She could win, and then Athena could cash, because she still got regardless of this going on, she still has a cash in. I mean, I'm getting a little convoluted, but
that's a good point. I hadn't considered that. The match is official without Athena having signed the contract.
Right.
So
the outcome, she could lose in London and still have a shot at the title and win it
in Toronto.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's a little convoluted.
I don't really like the convoluted booking. It feels very, the whole cash-in thing is basically Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And I get what some people say, come up with your own stuff. which, yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about this idea.
Me either.
But they've always had weird things when it comes to these contracts, because we saw the stuff with Christian. Christian would never like cash it in, and then it didn't happen. And then Darby had it, and John Moxley had started the Death Riders by that point. He forced Darby to sign it over to him to let him do it. So it's not out of the blue for how they book these. I
mean, I'm just,
thingies.
I'm just spitballing here.
But that's a really good point that I had not considered, because the match is already official. We got the graphic. The graphic is on their social media. The graphic was shown on TV. The match is happening, and she has not signed it. So she could wait until after the match, and she could sign it. Or she could even, you can go on thinking Tony wins, and then that Wednesday she comes on Dynamite, and Athena's like, Tony's like celebrating or whatever, and Athena says, ha ha ha, and signs it right then and says challenging you for All Out. So that could very well be the case. And then I have wondered, so Crash brings up a good point. Athena wins via interference from a disgruntled Mercedes Moné. Potentially. I originally had thought that maybe they keep Mercedes off TV, bring her back at Forbidden Door, especially if they end up defending, if the IWGP Women's title or the Strong title gets defended, because she lost the Strong title to Azumi. She was not pinned to lose that title. So it was like you could have her kind of get back there, but then they announced her for this Wednesday on Dynamite. So there goes that theory. Because I was like, I mean, I get it. You can't, I mean, you kind of need Mercedes on Forbidden Door, especially with New Japan and with the Japanese women that I assume she's gonna, I guess maybe she doesn't necessarily have to wrestle any of the Japanese women, because they are doing AEW branded matches.
Right.
So, I mean, you could, if they are doing that, I mean, you could have,
it's weird.
You could have her, I mean, she could, Sari could defend her, because I believe it's Sari that has the IWGP Women's title, so she could defend it against her. Or maybe she just defends her TBS title against somebody else. I mean,
yeah, possibly.
Because she does need to defend it. She hasn't defended. Obviously, she didn't defend it at All In because she was going for the women's title. So she hasn't defended it since the pay-per-view before. So they do, as LaRon pointed out the other day, like people need to start like saying that they want that TBS title. I still think she's going to hold it for more than 500 days. I'm going to stick with that theory.
I agree with you.
Jade Cargill. But she still needs to defend that title.
Mm-hmm.
And so she could defend it against. I don't know who though. I would hope that she would be cool to see, or because they're in London, to have her wrestle maybe somebody like Kanji or somebody like that and give them a spot.
Maybe.
But yeah, I haven't heard like anything. I don't know who she could face, because she's wrestled pretty much. I mean, I don't think she's quite run out of opponents like Athena has, but it feels like she's getting damn near close to it. So, but yeah, so those are the official matches so far for Forbidden Door. Obviously, that show is 21 days away, so we got 3 weeks to fill it out. I think we'll get more New Japan matches. I mean, Ishii is here, so Ishii could. They might, he was here Thursday. He's having his Hot Boy Summer, and
right, of course.
So they could do something with him. I don't know, because he's the freelancer. I don't know that they'd bring in Suzuki for anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know how that would work, but I'm assuming. Oh, and also though at Forbidden Door, I think we'll get some Michael Oku, because he dropped his title.
I bet
he dropped his title like 3 weeks ago.
I bet you're right.
He's coming. Maybe,
I would not be surprised.
Maybe Swerve loses and then he challenges Okada.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be a really solid match and a good idea for the title. Yes, and to get people to know Michael Oku. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have no clue. I'm just spitballing, because I was like, wait a minute. No, that's a great idea. I love that idea.
Because Tony did say that we would be seeing more, because Oku wrestled at Supercard of Honor, and he did say we will be seeing more of Michael in AEW and ROH, and he dropped that title like 3 weeks ago. So I'm assuming that means he's getting Forbidden Door would be the place where maybe they sign him on the spot, or something like that, make him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes becomes.
And then he'll bring Amira with him. But somebody who knows a bit more about Rev Pro is Amira. She's strictly his valet, right, or his manager, right? She doesn't.
Oh, I'm not sure about.
I don't think she wrestles at all. I could, but I'm sure somebody in the chat.
It wouldn't surprise me. There are people like that.
I believe, like, obviously, if he comes, she's coming too. Like, and she's got her visa. They both have their visas. They did.
Oh, right on.
Also, speaking of visas, maybe this is who Mercedes could face. Sheeta's got her passport.
Oh, there you go.
Sheeta posted a few days ago. She posted a picture with it. Then she posted, I saw Lyric had written an article about it, and she had posted yesterday she's been reunited with one of her cats because Kenny Omega has been cat sitting for her since she's been stuck because she got stuck in Japan.
Right.
And so Kenny has been taking care of her cats for her. And so she is back in the U.S. Awesome. She's with one of her cats. She's back in the U.S. So we could potentially see maybe she challenges Mercedes for the TBS championship, because that would really help solidify Mercedes as somebody like Sheeta.
I like that too. I like both. I'm up for both. Let's do both.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Because she's not going to drop it right away. She needs to get to the 500 days. Let's some good names. Like those two names are awesome.
Right. And another thing that Lyric pointed out. So Tony confirmed again. He talked to Iridian, who's she's in the Rest Friends podcast, and she sometimes does Wrestling Wind Down with Low. She works for WG, and she interviewed Tony. Tony confirmed with her what Body Slam said. And he said it on the media call. Tag team titles have been created. Mm-hmm. He says the reason they haven't appeared so far is because of the injuries in the women's division. Oh. Lyric pointed out that Shuri is Sheeta's tag team partner. Hmm. Shuri is currently recovering from an elbow injury. However, when she is healthy, sounds like tag titles could be introduced. And it sounds like potentially Sheeta and Shuri could be a tag team that we're going to get potentially the first tag team champions as well. Crazy. So that is something to keep in the back of your mind as we go through the rest of the year. That was a really interesting thing. There's a couple comments that I wanted to get to. Answer the thing about Buddy. Where was somebody asked, Crash TV said, can we talk about it? What is the Triangle of Madness? It is the triangle of those three women, and they are nobody you want to mess with.
I kind of love that idea. I kind of like that there's a lady faction.
I like the lady faction. I like that they're like, we're not really, Sky Blue and Julia are. I like how they're like, we're not really friends with Tekla. Yeah. We all have the same goal, which is to destroy everybody.
Yeah.
So they're making it work. I think it's kind of like the Don Callis family. MJF does it all the time. He works with people. He gives them some money. Don Callis, he did it with Shane Taylor Promotion the other night. Oh my God, that promo where Shane Taylor said that he was like, where's my money? And Don Callis said, I know you aren't stepping to me about some money. I was like, Shane Taylor ain't afraid of nobody. And then Shane basically said that. And I was like, yes. Yes. Like, and we got to see, I was so excited about that. We got Shane Taylor Promotion. We got Scorpio Sky all in a match together. I was very thrilled with that match. Skyflight's a very interesting name, but like Nikki said, as long as it gets Scorpio Sky on TV, they can call him whatever they want to. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, is it? Paul says you can't remember another word because it's just the unified championship. I thought there was a middle word. I thought it was like unified.
It might just,
maybe they dropped it.
I hope so. I hope so, because then maybe we're just overblowing it.
A middle word there connecting it, but good. Well, Paul, thank you for letting me know that I
like it better that way anyway.
Please. Crash says the Black Widows are something is greater than the Triangle of Madness, even missing a trick.
But it's the first time, so give them a minute. Then maybe they'll change the name eventually.
okay, so Jermaine says that Mercedes and Kanji are in a feud again. Yes, okay, against CTC and Repro right now. Yes, I did see because I saw the promo that Mercedes cut and she brought Kanji in and they talked about CTC. So yes, so maybe they would not have her as her opponent since they are. But Kanji was looking at her titles and she told her, she's like, get your eyes off your title, keep your head up. And she's like, oh yeah. And so she lifts her head up and is like, I'll keep my eyes on CTC. So they are teasing that at some point, Mercedes and Kanji, I mean, maybe it's for the Rev Pro title that she has, but there's something there with that. But thank you for reminding me of that, Jermaine. Nikki says, I want Mercedes to fight Nyla just so I can hear Nyla's crazy promos against her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Amazing.
And especially Nyla typically fights all the new champions, but I don't believe Nyla has faced Mercedes yet. And speaking of, it is Nyla Rose's birthday. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
The AEW posted a graphic.
We rock.
It was the birthday graphic, and they put a yellow post-it that says Serpentico sucks.
Wonderful. Well done. Excellent birthday present.
So speaking of, MJF was at CMLL on Friday, and he won the CMLL Light Heavyweight Championship, I believe is the proper title. He had John Cruz with him. And John Cruz he's like, who am I fighting next? And so he leans down and John Cruz tells him in his ear, it was, I don't know how to pronounce it properly because it's spelled, I clearly don't have the correct, I can't say the correct accent. It's like Sandakin. I know it starts with a Z, but I think it's pronounced like an S. I could be very wrong, and I am sorry for butchering that poor man's name. But they are wrestling, I believe they are wrestling next, and people are thinking that this is going to lead to Místico versus MJF at the CMLL anniversary show, the 91st anniversary show. I think that's in October. And so people think that that's going to be the match, and it's going to be for that title he just won. Cool. Yeah, so that is happening. But because of the John Cruz, that made me think, because John Cruz and Serpentico are the same person. For those who don't know. As we talked about how Santa may or may not be real, John Cruz may also be Serpentico.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I hear you now. Got it.
And also Bendejo. His other name. So Maria asked, will Tony book 2 women to have multiple titles at the same time with Athena and Mercedes? He's booked himself into a bit of an issue. Well, they could, because Forbidden Door is Sunday the 24th. That Friday is Death Before Dishonor. If Tony Khan knows what's good for him, Athena will retain, and then a week later she will get to her 1,000-day milestone. Because if not, gonna send somebody to kick Tony in the shins for me very hard. I know some people who work there. Be like, can you please go kick Tony very hard in the shins for me? Thank you. And tell him Tony Khan will pay. Find Stokely to say Tony Khan will pay for his crimes.
There you go. I love it.
And then kick him in the shins for me.
I'm in. So let's go.
I still don't know where Athena drops this title. I do not want her to vacate this. I've talked about this in depth.
Yeah.
I hope she drops it. However, she would have time between her 1,000-day milestone and dropping it before she gets to All Out on September the 20th. There's still time for her to drop it somewhere to someone, maybe even not to an AEW wrestler necessarily, but to on AEW programming. They could do it because Tony likes to do that. He likes to put AEW belts on there. Why not have Athena drop her title on TV? Make that person be the person who defeats Athena after more than 1,000 days. Like, that should shoot them into that's really big for them. You could do that on AEW programming now at this point that we've introduced them, especially if that person is going to be Billy Starks, who has
it would be a good plug for ROH television.
It would be. You see her win the title, and then you see her come defend it. Have the celebration the next week, and then who comes to challenge her? If Tony does this right, fingers crossed. So they could potentially have her drop the title on AEW television between day 1000 and her dropping it before Forbidden Door. I mean, not Forbidden Door, All Out in Toronto. And then maybe that is where that comes into play, where she gets so upset that she's lost, that she can't stand. That's what they could do. She could lose her mind, not having her, not being the forever ROH champion anymore, not having that title, that she signs the contract and beats Tony for her title. And All Out. That would be like the fuel to push her. That could potentially, maybe that's how we handle it. Then Athena has the one title. You crown a new ROH Women's Champion and hopefully set them up for success. And then you have Mercedes as the only one with the multiple titles. Maybe that's how we get there. Yes, Nikki said. And then Lance stepped in, and I was like, Shane Taylor is not scared if you go sit down.
True story.
Maria says Timeless Tony and Alex looked like they were tagging for years on Dynamite. Yeah, they had really good chemistry.
They looked good. That was a good match.
They could potentially, like, if Tony drops the title, maybe Tony is the inaugural women's tag team champion.
Oh, there you go.
And then Alex is certainly a formidable partner for her. So maybe
that's a good idea. I like that.
Like
I'm into that.
You could potentially, having Tony be the first ever women's tag team champion.
Yeah, that would be so much better because she's already like such a huge star, and that would help Alex Windsor be recognized.
They can actually hopefully book the tag team properly because tag team wrestling is not most wrestling promotions' strong suit.
Yeah, right.
So they could have Tony be the one to like set the tone for Tony and Alex set the tone for that title.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Defend them and make those titles. Being the inaugural champion, you kind of set the tone for what that title is. And having Timeless Tony Storm,
that'd be awesome.
Even if they, I don't know that she. That's what she clearly didn't drop the character when she lost the title the first time, but losing the second title the second time. Do you think? I mean, does she keep with the Timeless Tony character, or does she do something else?
I think she has maybe a little bit in her own way. Maybe she alters it some because she's lost.
Sure.
But I feel like that character is really what people love. So maybe she just sort of, again, like adapts it into her new form, whether it be in a tag team where she's trying to help. Maybe she takes all of her experience and tries to help Alex get better by tagging with her.
Maybe.
Even though she lost. I mean, because, that could be a point where you have them working together, but then you break them up and have them fight each other later on, or have Alex, because then Alex Windsor is established. And
right.
I mean, they don't have to stay a tag team forever, but they could definitely do it for a period.
That'd be a really cool team.
They could be frenemies forever.
I mean, that's what they're doing. I haven't seen it, but I know Charlotte and Alexa won the titles last night off of, which I knew was
whatever. Bailey and Sasha did frenemies for freaking years, and that's sure like they just kept going round and round and round doing frenemies every single time.
Yes, so that certainly could be done. Jermaine says that he agrees that Mercedes versus either Sheeta, Jamie Hayter, or Alex Windsor could be fun. This is for the TBS champion. Like, I like all those names. I think, and we haven't heard an update about Jamie in a while. So I don't know if they're keeping that quiet because Jamie is going to return at Forbidden Door, or if her injury is just healing slower than they expected. I can't tell.
I hope you're right.
Fernando says that Stat and Willow, or Anna Jay and Ty Mello, should be the first women's champions. I mean, there's also Megan Bain and Penelope Ford that they could do. So they're definitely trying things out for sure about like who works together and who the fans want to see. Okay. Thank you, Jermaine. Nyla did wrestle Mercedes last year. It could happen again. I could not remember. Thank you. Clearly I could not remember. So thank you for reminding me because I could not remember. Crash says they're a cool group, Tekla and company, but the name sounds like cobbled together during a late night bong session. I mean, it very well could have. Maybe it wasn't a bong session. I mean, it could have been. Maybe it was over some. Maybe it was some instance in a dark room.
Maybe they're just really into percussion. We don't know.
Could be that. Maybe they like. I feel like it's a play on Death Triangle. I feel like that's
I got that.
And I like the entrance. I like how they did. Like they lift up their arms so Tekla can go under. Like I like the visual of that. Like, I think it's fun. Maybe they consulted their tarot cards and that's where it came from. Let's see here. Fernando says, I think the Pinnacle is getting back together to help MJF against, oh God, please no. I mean, there was a rumor that last year that they were going to do the Pinnacle. Just obviously Sean Spears is in NXT doing whatever he's doing. I think he's not on TV. I don't know if he's still on TV. And then Wardlow as MJF is not happening. That's not happening. But they could do the Pinnacle where it's MJF and FTR. It could just do the three of them.
Yep.
Versus because her Syndicate's only technically 2 because MVP is not wrestling, but they could make that work. Yeah, Crash. Yes, Mercedes could be the one to take the ROH title off of Athena. Like she needs any more. Book yourself to win the ROH title. Final boss Monet. Listen, I'm here for
that. Could actually work because then she could carry it for a little while, get somebody else over in ROH. She wouldn't necessarily be on a bunch of AEW TV, but she could be on it. And then, because that's a big name no matter what. Yeah. I mean, it can't just be nobody. And I don't like the idea of a vacated title is just such a bummer.
Which is why I would say Billy, but Mercedes is all about collecting titles. So they could do that. And that can absolutely be done on AEW television.
And that could keep her where she needs to be until she's ready to be the AEW champion.
Right.
She's going to, I mean, those belts are going to start unwinding.
Yeah.
Soon.
And then it's going to be so fun to watch.
It's going to be awesome. Then that will be an octagon of magnets.
This will, yes, that will be cinema.
Like what is it? It's a dodecahedron. That's like a 20-sided eye.
Or you have your what did Willow say she was the other day? She was the trapezoid of Grapazoid.
Oh, there you go.
And then and then Nigel asked what a trapezoid was, and Tony started to answer, but then he couldn't remember either. That's great.
Like I sucked at geometry.
Me too. I wanted them to I was hoping that when Willow came out for her match that it was a trapezoid of Grapazoid on her chyron.
That is amazing. That would be amazing. They're definitely.
Yes, we will. Let's talk about
Somebody needs to make that sign. Work on this.
Let's talk about Proto TNT Star because thank God that street fight.
That was really great.
I'm right with Nikki. That should have been the all-in match.
Probably.
That's the match that they should have done.
I think what happened was the Adam Cole thing.
I get it.
I know. I'm with you. He's got it now.
But also,
they need to give him a big defense on the next pay-per-view is what they need.
They better.
He needs to get a good...
incredible. But apparently the reason it sounds like... So I can't tell. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll get some clarity soon. I don't know if Dustin was never going to hold the title that long, or if Dustin is legitimately injured. He tweeted about it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
He needs surgery. He says he has a hole in his leg because of Kyle, because, Kyle, that's why they did the screwdriver spot. Then he tweeted and said it's not a work. Because he was blaming Kyle for his injuries. I don't think that's the case. But I don't know if, he won the title, found out he was injured, and they're like, all right, we'll drop it at the final Aragon ballroom show, put him over, send the fans home happy until we come back to Chicago for World's End, because that got announced. World's End will be in Chicago. Somebody said that that means that they're going to, WWE is going to book Goldberg again.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
And so I don't know if that was always the plan, that Dustin was only going to hold it through the end of the residency, or after the match he found out he was injured and they're like, okay, this is what we're doing. So I'm sure we'll find out more about it. But whatever the reason, I'm just, again, as much as I love Dustin Rhodes, I'm so glad that Kyle Fletcher is the TNT champion. That TNT title needs somebody like him, and that is not a slight against Adam Cole or Daniel Garcia, but that title needs somebody like Kyle Fletcher to be the one to carry it, and I am so glad it's Kyle Fletcher. I thought the match was incredible. Dustin, again, Dustin is incredible for what he does, and for him to be able to do the things he does. And I know we complain about Jericho and stuff being on TV, but if we're going to have any wrestler in their 50s winning titles. I'm not mad at being Dustin Rhodes, and I guess we're getting ready to have Cope and Christian, I guess, with tag team titles. But so yay to that. Oh, I like that. Toxic Center should have been the name, not Triangle of Madness, especially because they were wearing the shirts with the sin on it. Yeah. So we have somebody else that I think the MJF will help FTR dethrone the Hurt Syndicate. Hammerstone will be the new Wardlow of the faction. That's really interesting because there have been rumors that Hammerstone is coming in, and so is why am I blanking on his name? I can see his face. What is his other partner? Sorry. It's Alex, and why am I blanking?
I'm
sure somebody in the comments will tell me. I can see his face. Or Richard Holiday. Thanks.
There we go.
I knew I was getting there. I was like, hold on. I was like, I see his face.
Don't do it. Don't crash your brain.
I almost did. So we have some fans we have some audience members who watched the Jersey's Championship Wrestling show, that is where Brad is. I believe that's where Brad is at today. Brad was talking about being able to go. I believe that is the same show.
Yeah, I've heard that they've been doing really well. We need to be checking them out.
Yes, there are 2 JCWs. One is Juggalos, one is Jersey. The Jersey Championship Wrestling. They always have the Jersey J Cup, and those tournaments are so fun. And Jet Speed and Darian Bingston were on that show in the main event so far. Darian Bingston is somebody I've really come to enjoy. He has wrestled for Ashe a few times.
Oh, nice.
I really like him. He's definitely very cool. Oh, that's a good question. Is Mercedes after Ultimo Dragon's belt collector record of 10 belts, or will AEW world title being the 11th one? They could. I mean, she's this close. She's at 8 titles right now.
That's interesting. That's not
bad. If she wins, say she wins the ROH women's title, that would give her 9.
9.
So then she would need 1 to tie. Was Ultimo Dragon? Yeah, it was 10. So yeah, 10. If I reread that. So yes. So then she would only need 1 to tie him if she wins that title. And then she would need, so then there would be 2 left. They certainly could. I mean, at this point, if you're going to have her tie Ultimo Dragon, why fans would hate it.
However, God, yeah.
They would hate it. But to get those 3 titles, she could win the ROH women's title, win the Strong title back, and win the IWGP women's title. There's 3 right there.
Yeah, they would hate it, but they would hate it all over Twitter for weeks, and no one would shut up about it.
Not that she can't go to any other promotion, because these indie promotions love having her on there. So, I mean, she could certainly go. I mean, Red Velvet's injured. She could, and Mina is the interim champion, but Mina is injured, so she could win the ROH women's and women's TV titles. That would give her 10.
Oh my god!
The Pure Championship has not been decided yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's still out there.
Could you imagine if she had all 3 ROH titles and the TBS title?
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
Crash.
You stop that right now.
Counter programming. Please don't put that into existence.
Although it would be funny if
WWE
would be WWE, like it would be funny if that's how low they were willing to go to actually counter program a second tier promotion that's dying.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, right.
Welcome.
Sorry, I was listening. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. We are glad that you are here. We are here every Sunday at 1:00, except for on AEW pay-per-views. We are generally on Saturdays with our pre show to run down the shows, but we're generally here on Sundays at 1. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, he's a Mercedes. They said Mercedes has the Mexican belt and CMLL British, Italian, Poland. I bet she's pissed she had to drop that Japanese one, which might be. Maybe she goes back for one of those Japanese.
There you go. She's like, I'm taking that one.
That's a good point. I had not thought about that. Can you see Gallus debuting in AEW and Dynamite and Collision in Scotland? I think it's in 2 weeks.
Possibly.
It's possible. I would. Yeah, I had not thought about that. I guess it depends on It just depends because they were named in Speaking Out.
Oh, gotcha.
So I think that might not be a good idea because they were named and they had some pretty awful things. So we will see there. But I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think so.
We do. I have to go get some cat food. So I was telling Mel,
Sam
I
has
was
to
like,
make sure she
I
gets
know
her
we talk
real
a
life
lot, but
stuff
I have a hungry cat, and I have to help out with. I'll be helping out with SummerSlam.
Sam's doing. We're all doing a lot right now.
Taking one for the team and watching SummerSlam. I will tell you, I did see somebody say last night. A fellow writer said that the SummerSlam was pretty forgettable and it felt like another show.
That's too bad.
I did not go out of it. I didn't have to. I mean, I was busy yesterday, but I didn't have to watch it. So, but I'll be watching it tonight. And then, of course, I'll be there for Raw too. So, yay.
And then after, if you guys are subscribed, and then after tonight's SummerSlam, make sure you join the Wrap. Keela Cash and Salty Scott will be here shortly after the show, right on this network, right on this channel. So if you did subscribe today, just turn your notifications on. Yep. And you will see them. And they are always awesome and fun. And I love their takes. And I love listening to them.
Yeah, because even if you're not a WWE fan, they have some really good takes.
Oh,
they
are, like, I'm not. I don't generally watch WWE, but I greatly enjoy dipping into the Wrap just because they truly are WWE fans who hold their promotion accountable for its behavior, and that's especially with that promotion, that's pretty wild. And they just have some fantastic and fun takes.
They're really funny. I can't imagine even. I don't think they were on the coverage for last night. I'm sure they had some.
So they are going to have all the feels tonight. It's going to be an extra. So you might be bring your shakers, folks. You might be able to catch some extra salt off of Salty Scott this evening.
Yeah. That's going to be fun. And then also, for some of our new subscribers, besides us and the Wrap, Wednesday night is the Dynamite shows after Dynamite, obviously. If you're into New Japan, Thursdays is Speaking of Strong Style. There's also a 5-Star Joshi show that's not generally on YouTube, but Scott Edwards is incredible. There's also some other shows that get mixed in here. There's like the Watch Back where we go back and watch old things. Like we did one on Evolution, the first Evolution. They also did one for Omega Okada 1 that they did a rewatch of that. So then, there's all kinds of really good content. So we thank you for subscribing for our show, but there's some really great other stuff if you want to see that. And there's clips. So like if you want a little taste of what they sound like, go check them out. And we will be back next Sunday at 1:00. And also, before we leave, real quick, if you want a t-shirt, go to oneradtee.com.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I gotta show it.
We finally have Power Bombshells t-shirts. They do ship worldwide. They are made to order, so they will not print them until you order them. And then they will ship directly to you. So please, if you are interested in that, definitely go check that out. If you do purchase one, send us pictures so that we can answer them. And then Brad was gracious enough to let us put the picture of him and Kathy up on our Instagram. I need to put it on Blue Sky. I keep forgetting to do that. So, but yes. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.